to cast this TVP, as we are going to start down to the bottom right hand side in our Katowice Afterparty playoffs with GunGFuBanDa. Up against the Red Terran in the upper left hand side, we've got Team Liquid's uThermal. So, game one of the best of three as we get this started on up. And let me just double check that Soul is in the chat now and playing. Alright. Perfect. See what I gotta put up with, guys. Perfect. Alright, let's do this. We can focus up on this TVP as just getting organized, making sure the other match is ongoing. Probe coming in to scout into the main base, having a little bit of a look to see what's going on. As we do see, Denver's messaging me too. Everyone just wants to message me today. Everyone just wants to PM me while we're going. You know, Denver doesn't even need to message me, and he's still like, oh, you know, I'm just like accidentally sliding into your StarCraft 2 whispers. I get it, Denver. I get all the girls that want to slide into my StarCraft 2 whispers, usually. I know how it is. It's fine. You can get away with it. Okay, let's actually get started, though. Probe, scouting around and blocking the command center by just a few moments. Yesterday, we saw uThermal in a not-so-successful series in the group stages against SKillous and some TVP, which turned into PvP after game number 1. And again, these round of 8 matches, just best of 3s. Players have already got themselves $20 of prize money by ending up in the round of 8 here. And every win, basically every series you win from now on doubles your money. So $25 turns into $50 if you finish in the round of 4. $50 turns into $100 if you win the round of 4 match as well and go to the finals. And if you win the finals, it's a $200 prize. So that's all being figured out, and that's what everyone's playing for here today. And as we are going to see this probe getting back home, Twilight Council starting up in the back of the main, and that first step now finishing here from GunGFuBanDa, just going to sit atop this ramp with a Stalker building up as well. Even we're going to open with a pretty quick Marauder here. He's kept his Reaper at home. The Adept isn't going to rush across the map either, so it's going to be too late to realistically slow this down or anything, so just keeps it at home for now and defends against the potential Reaper push-in. Of course, this map, there isn't really anywhere for the Reaper to go. If you wall off this area, you're basically going up this main ramp, so this Adept here basically guarantees no scout. As the Blink starts up, ooh, I like this build. So this is going to be the Marauder Hellion build. This is something that TY did a little bit recently of. I was casting it in the Limo League this week. TY did this against Hero, or maybe it was another Protoss he did it against. And Innovation did a variation where he did it against somebody as well. We casted so many TVPs. I think Innovation did it against Stats, but he did a Proxy Rax Reaper into Marauder Concussive Shells. And a couple of Hellions to then eventually follow up as well. It was pretty cool, actually. It was pretty cool. But this version from TY, I mean, if you don't have a shield battery, you are in so much trouble. It's actually a little bit crazy how much trouble you get into here. So GunGFuBanDa, yeah, shield battery absolutely a necessity right now. And even that's not a guarantee, because if you fight away from the shield battery, you can fight towards this pylon and power a gateway. That kind of forces the Stalkers a bit more away from this, so we'll see what happens. Obviously, Hellions can also dart up to the main base as well if given the opportunity. The Medivac lifts up the Marauders. The Hellions will come across the map on their own accord with that Reaper as well. Still has a Reaper grenade to throw in here as well, which does switch things up a little bit. Sometimes it just changes that fight the little that you need it to. You know, pop a couple Stalkers around and so on and so forth. Sentry does have a force field. And here we go, Marauder's going to come flying in. The Hellions, force field but not having much effect. Again, that shield battery is pretty big here. As you see, the Hellion's going to go towards the mineral line. That's going to actually take up a lot of the shield battery energy because the probes being healed up. I mean, they just take so much splash damage from the Hellions, basically. Marauders continue to target fire down these Stalkers, and good micro on the first Marauder here. That's very low, but it's continued to being picked up and being dropped back down, so just making sure it doesn't fall too quickly. 4 probes, a few Stalkers, and the Medivac stays alive, and he's going to get 1 probe out towards the third base as well. And I like the Medivac and the Marauders staying alive. That's really nice here. This was 3 Stalkers, an Adept, and 5 probes for the 3 Hellions and the Reaper. And the 3 Hellions and the Reaper definitely don't have much of a place in the matchup continuing on from here, right? you know, as you continue on, you just don't have any need for Hellions. I mean, you can run by again, maybe drop them in the main, sure. But in terms of fighting force, the Marauders are really nice. And especially against a Blink opener to still have Marauders alive is really nice. Because now, any sort of Blink attack, I mean, there's multiple Marauders here waiting to fight. And that's going to be such a good backup on top of this tank. Compared to if this was just like 6 more Marines or something, they're going to deal masses of damage to those Stalkers. So this looks very good so far for uThermal. I like the opening. As we see GunGfu post Blink, going to go straight into charge. The scan here from uThermal should reveal a pretty good indication of this, especially if he sees Double Forge starting up. And he doesn't come in, he doesn't click on it, so Double Forge builds towards the end of the scan. That does mean that uThermal, I mean, doesn't actually know that, but he sees extra gates and so on already. Maybe that's a little bit of a telltale sign that this is going to be more gateway focused rather than a Robo Bay and moving in towards Colossus. I think he knows already there is a pretty early Twilight Council. He's seen no sort of Robo Facility units, and so he should know it's probably going to be Blink then, off of a Twilight. I mean, he already saw the Twilight, right? So he kind of knows what's up, I think. And there is the Robo Bay now eventually coming down, so GunGfu will end up on Colossus. But not for a little while, as uThermal continues to build up a couple of extra barracks coming down in the natural expansion. Starport throwing down the reactor in the main base, and again the few Marines and the Raven were kind of scouting around a little bit as well. So Stim continuing on, as we do see the couple of Zealots going to go maneuvering around, continue to warp into this third base. So it's going to be a little bit of kind of hanging around, waiting for those upgrades really, because obviously uThermal has no real reason to fight before the upgrades. He does add, I mean, the 4th and 5th racks. Always interesting before third base because it means you're going to be super duper aggressive rather than just sort of expanding. So again, Tyrant players have kind of taken a bit more of a, you know, a lean towards these sort of builds, the ones that are aggressive and try and end the game sooner rather than later. So as these racks come up, maybe see a third base behind the attack, but obviously the attack doesn't come in for another minute or so because that's when Stim will be done. The Stim pack, the most important of these 3 upgrades, although they'll all have a good impact on the upcoming fight. Means that by the time uThermal attacks, there will be 1 Colossus in play, although no extended thermal lance. There we go, starting that now. But of course there is the Raven as well, and the Raven's going to be huge. An Interference Matrix can nullify 1 Colossus very easily, an anti-armor missile can completely change the way a fight looks as well. And the Stim pack is the only upgrade left to finish. Any moment should be the moment for uThermal to start moving across the map. He sent a single Marine forwards, it got picked off right away by the army of the Protoss player. So that's already being cleaned out here as well as uThermal now another Marine out over to the right-hand side, sees this Zealot, gives it a little click as well, sees no upgrades, although upgrades are just now finishing, so uThermal starting to run out of information on that. He's got a lot of Wooden Mines mixed in here as well, going to start pressing forwards. He's got a good few Marauders, so I don't think these Stalkers are going to really be able to pick off much. It's a scary army from uThermal, honestly. I mean, it's absolutely massive. As you can see, the Widow Mine's pulling back right away. Siege Tank. I thought the Siege Tank might actually be up in the front there, but it was not the target. And we are going to see uThermal continue to press forwards. Well, might have to burrow the Widow Mines here. The Zealots are coming in. He'll actually scan. It's a tough place to fight for uThermal because of the choke point. Already 1 force field used here by GunGfu. He's going to back away a little bit. uThermal might be able to get up this ramp now because GunGfu is playing very passively. You're going to see him pushing up. The tanks are going to be, well, he's force fielded in, but actually the force fields might not matter so much because the Zealots kind of just ran in. The Widow Mines don't do anything though as well. The Raven did get that Interference Matrix, does go down over the Stalkers blinking to the right side. The Matrix was good to minimize the Colossus splash while the Marines clumped up. I just wonder if he lost a few too many Widow Mines because those Widow Mines really did just sort of wander in there. Observer goes down as uThermal continues his push. Remember, uThermal is so committed to this attack. No third base. Some Zealots back on the other side. Some reinforcements will turn to deal with that. This bottom left pylon is coming into use. Tank still sieged up. I love the Liberator edition. That's obviously going to be very important here. A bit of a split from GunGfu. He's going to attack in from 2 different areas. But I wonder if uThermal can take advantage of that. Jump on this army down to the bottom while the army comes in from the top. No, GunGfu's timed it out pretty well. And he's coming in from those 2 different angles. Makes it very difficult for uThermal to fight. He'll stim up towards the Colossus and he will get 2 of them in towards the natural. He's boosting with those medevacs as well, but he's going to have to stim once more. And he continue pulling away, but he's still on 2 bases against the 3. And that means GunGfu will have a hole in the top though, right? You know? Top right hand side. Our red Protoss player here is GunGFuBanDa. And to the top left, Blue Terror and his Team Liquid's uThermal. But yeah, GunGFuBanDa is definitely having a good streak himself right now. He's also doing very well in WCS. He's also had a good run. He went out in the round of 16 as well, same position as uThermal did. But yeah, he's been looking pretty good. He didn't play in Katowice. If he did, maybe we would have seen some cool stuff from him there. But I'm sure we'll see some cool stuff from him in the upcoming WCS challenges when they get set up sooner. Alright, so probe code across the map, and SCV popping down from uThermal as he finishes up the barracks here on year 0, a very large map for game number 2 of this series. Just going to see the SCV already nibbling away at that probe a little bit to dealing a little bit of damage to get started. Probe already losing its shields, and the SCV going to be able to keep pushing that around. So probe, again, taking a few hits so far. Orbital command about to finish up in the main base. So as that orbital finishes, uThermal can drop down a mule. You're going to see the factory, command center, all of this getting set up, and there is that Reaper going to start moving across as uThermal going to head to the upper right and see what he can bring to the table. So away goes uThermal as we see the warp gate coming in on the cybernetics core, the adept being chrono boosted out here from GunGFuBanDa as well. So getting this set up and ready to roll as we do see the Reaper coming to the top side, going to pick away at this probe. Probe going to go down. Obviously, pretty standard opening here. Expands on the high ground, so uThermal just being very safe. Despite the size of the map, you can still get an adept across in time to just about stop that barracks from building. As the Reaper continues towards the natural expansion here, adept comes down the ramp and already greets that Reaper, pushes it back a little bit. So Reaper taking some hits, throws down a grenade. Still will fall, unfortunately. So Reaper still going down. And I think that's what uThermal thinks of TVP. We jump into the top left-hand side of the map, our blue Zerg player. This is Namshar, who only just made it through his group on map score after going 1 and 2. Lost out to TLO and was able to win another of the couple of the matches, but it was really rough. He won against Sol. Who did he win against? He won against Geralt. And he lost against Sol and TLO, but he took a map in each series, and that's what saw him advancing through in second place of his group to play against SKillous, who topped his group yesterday in a tiebreaker situation with uThermal and Ziggy with 2-1 on match score. It's a little bit of an opposite as to what happened, there and on the other side. Namshar comes in as the second seed essentially in this match, but you have to imagine he is probably the favorite against SKillous, the red Protoss player in the bottom right-hand side of the map, who has been I mean, improving as of late. Definitely another Protoss player who's up and coming at the moment and definitely has started to show great things. I really noticed this guy during the GG of the Year tournament at the end of 2018. I really noticed that he was doing very well. He was performing pretty good, and it definitely seemed to be having like a lot of success. And so from there, he's then qualified for WCS Winter. He had a pretty good time there. He finished 3rd place in his group in the round of 32. So in general, yeah, he's definitely been impressing. He won a couple of matches at IEM Katowice. He took down Nurture in the winners bracket, so he was able to really kind of just throw some spanners in the spanners in the works here along the so far this year, and is definitely already winning some prize money and putting himself into a good little spot. All right, so a couple of drones coming mining away as we do see the spawning pool coming up in the main base. Hatch gas and pool getting going as the Nexus from SKillous drops down on the natural. Did you miss Denver vs Seoul? It was streamed on a mill stream. We're only doing 2 quarterfinals here today, and then the 2 semis and the finals. Obviously, we just don't want to make it last all day long, and typically I wouldn't mind casting 4 best of 3s and 3 best of 5s, but today I really have to get going and sort out my stuff to go to Ukraine tomorrow to cast WSG, so we're just doing the 2 best of 3s. It's also why we're actually casting at this sort of time rather than tonight in the evening for a European tournament, because because I actually fly at 6 AM tomorrow, so I just want to kind of get the stream wrapped up today. I want to stream, but I want to also be wrapped up and get ready to pack and sort things out and just make sure everything is alright. Couple lings chasing this probe down to the bottom side. As the adept comes across to replace it, just going to check for that 3rd base. And as you check in for the third base, you're going to be able to, well, take off a couple lings out the front here. Oh, lets them go. A little bit of a mistake by SKillous. But yeah, you see the third base is up. Good little confirmation here. And you continue on. It's going to be the Stargate building the Phoenix to start with from SKillous. Good to see what comes up as a follow-up. We saw SKillous against Minato yesterday. It was a pretty aggressive series, actually. He held off a Baling Bust pretty impressively, and I can't actually remember what happened in Game 1, but I feel like it wasn't too lengthy either. As you do see this Adept just hopping up in towards the main. Phoenix leads into an Oracle, so it looks as though we are going to see a pretty standard Stargate opening. The Phoenix will take down the Overlord. The Oracle comes out next to get into a bit of harassment. And that Oracle and Phoenix together can get quite a lot done usually. So that's definitely something to watch out for here, as this Adept continues to hide away in the bottom left. Second Adept coming over. So those guys want to come in together at the same time so they can start one-shotting drones, hopefully picking up a good amount of damage here in the early stages. Robotics facility starts on the natural expansion, and so that's already shown us the sign of maybe some aggressive follow-ups. A couple of options from that faster Robo. I mean, Twilight Council comes down pretty quick after the Robo, so it could just be an Archon drop. As you do see the two Adepts about to arrive up in the natural expansion. The Spore Crawler going to be finishing in a moment or two, and this Oracle all the way up to the top side. I mean, yeah, there's a few drones that are kind of exposed here that you can definitely try and pick off. So there you go, Oracle flies in, but oh my god, 2 Queens and the Spore Crawler. Oracle goes down instantly. At least the Adepts are having a bit of a better time. They find 3 workers. That will be all. Good micro from Namshar. Continues to click these drones on the mineral so they don't go back to mining towards the Adepts right away. Okay, well, 2 Adepts and an Oracle for just 3 drones is not brilliant. I mean, at least the Adepts found something, right? Otherwise, that Oracle goes down and Namshar's just in a state of freedom. 5 extra gates with charge. Now the Templar Archives as well. Feels very aggressive, obviously. Feels as though SKillous really wants to ramp up the pressure a little bit here and to really get some damage done, perhaps, as we see the Lair, the Rotorone, coming up from Namshar's side of things. A few Zerglings just patrolling out the front as well. We are going to see this probe going to come over and with the Zealot to help out. Just going to get ready to throw down Nexus, but the Zealot is not going to be able to actually protect us here just yet. The Lings, good movement by Namshar, jumping on top of that probe, able to take it down. Very nicely done as another couple of Zealots just warping in at the front. That Warp Prism about to finish on the natural expansion. So the Prism is about to finish up. The few Roaches, the few Queens continuing to pop on out. Roach speed on the way on the Rotor, and the charge just about halfway done then, and definitely feels like it's time to get aggressive, right? This Warp Prism will want to warp in a few High Temple. I tell you what, without the Oracle though, it is a bit risky because these Zerglings, if they're underneath the Prism, I guess that's why the Zealots are coming along. There you go, High Templar warping in. Ooh, might actually just have to lift these High Templar up. The Queens are super close to the Warp Prism here. Oh, this is a bit awkward. He actually cancelled his couple of Zealots that were warping in. Okay, he's going to be okay, but now he's kind of chasing forward to try and get something done. My Starcraft keeps doing this, and I really don't know why. It's really scary when it happens. Alright, Warp Prism has to stay back if it wants to warp in an extra round of Zealots, which it should do, right? To kind of help push this back, but maybe just too many Roaches, and SKillous decides, okay, gonna back away here. I feel like this was just scary in general, though. Warping in those High Templar with the, the Prism, being in range of Queens almost, it was crazy. Phoenix continuing down at the bottom right of the Warp Prism. Heading over to the left-hand side as well. Welcome, dropping straight on down, and just going to be seeing the drones getting pushed away to the top side of the mineral line just like that. And the Archon's going to keep attacking here. A couple more drones getting picked off. So Worker's taking quite a bit of damage. Just +1 missile attack from Namshar coming up as well. Meanwhile, an Immortal being Chrono boosted, this Archon morphing in as well. Couple of Zealots just warping in down on the third base. The Roaches continuing down to the bottom side of the map from Namshar as well. This Warp Prism, a couple of Archons inside of it. Namshar going to get aggressive here as he comes down to the bottom side. He's building up that Lurker Dam, which is a pretty typical Namshar maneuver. Oh, Roach is really going to dive in. They're going to get right on top of this as well. First Archon taking a lot of damage. Will fall now, the Immortal, taking quite a few hits as well. He gets an Archon and an Immortal. I mean, he might get away, but he'll lose a few more Roaches right with the Immortal and the Zealots charging. Yeah, okay. Well, that was a nice little dive in from Namshar. Definitely getting some good damage. And, well, now backing away, he's getting the Hydras on the way up again. The Lurker Den transition is there. And it just feels like Namshar is fully in control of how he wants this game to go. Prism comes back into play. Does drop the Archons to clean up those Roaches. Obviously, the pickoffs that Namshar made were not free, but still kind of put him in an alright spot. I think an Archon and Immortal is very nice to get a few Zealots as well. I'm a little bit worried that these Hydras are kind of on their own. I mean, that really feels like they're very exposed. There isn't anything to tank for them, I think, is the biggest issue here. There's actually 18 units still in the production tab as well for Namshar. Unfortunately for SKillous, he just doesn't quite have enough to push into those Hydras. He turns around now. He feels like he needs an extra warp in of Zealots, right? Got another line of Zealots in front of these Archons. And it might be very scary, but too many Hydras at the moment, and that means their damage output is just crazy. You just lose units way too quickly here with SKillous. As we're going to be seeing more roaches on the way out. There's the second Robo, so you can continue to produce more Immortals. Namshar with a little bit of a roach run by that stopped just a little bit shy of the mark. Lurker is ready though, and so as he gets a few more Overlords up, gets some back built, going to start going towards a Lurker-based army, and a Lurker-based army that's going to be very aggressively positioned as well. Namshar already coming down the map to, well, set up a siege essentially. I mean, Lurker's pushing up this ramp are very scary. As we see Zealots charging in, the Hydras and the Roaches taking down a lot already. This straight Archon going down. A couple of Zealots going to counter-attack into the natural expansion. Namshar sending his Queens in to deal with this. They're not the fastest damage dealers, but they'll do the job. There's not too many Zealots here, as Namshar still hasn't morphed in the Lurkers, which I'm surprised about. There's still no kind of storm here either, though, so I guess you can kind of just fight with Hydras if you'd like to. A lot of Zealots going down. See the Archons continue to pick away at the Roaches. The Hydra picked off as well. Namshar is pushing over. Sentry goes down. Extra Zealots charging on through here, and again this army from Namshar continues to back away. More and more Zealots going down. This is just going to be way too much. Let's go. Let's try to chase, but again, he just doesn't have the numbers. I mean, the early game didn't go right for him, right? The 6-gate Zealot attack with the Archons didn't really do anything. So Namshar was set up very comfortably. The Oracle didn't do anything. It went down right away. It's just all of those losses compound themselves in towards this advantage that Namshar has, and Namshar just goes a bit haphazardly up the ramp and just goes attacking into whatever because he's in a position when he can do that. Extra reinforcements showing up for him. Even a couple of Zerglings mixed in here as the probes are pulled. It's never a good sign. I mean, this is at the very least going to be a ton of worker kills if the game doesn't end. So it probably looks like the game is ending as well. GG is called, and Namshar picks up the first game of this best of 3. Bottom left-hand side. I read Protoss player down a map. This is going to be SKillous. Top right, it is going to be our Blue Zerg Infinity Gaming's Namshar, and he's up 1 in this best of 3 series. Okay, so getting this ready to roll. We have a lot of ZVP in a row here, but again we'll have some Terran action in the second semi-final of today guaranteed, because MarineLorD and Acheron are both Terran players, and they'll both be fighting it out for a slot in the semis. So again, a little bit of PvZ for a while here though, and again, so good to see so many of you. Viewership is looking great today for the playoffs, which is fantastic. Hope you guys are having a good week. Just a little bit of a heads up, as we've got a few of you in here. If you're a regular watcher of the stream, I'm not going to be live from tomorrow until next Monday, because I'm going to be busy at WESG. I'm going to be casting WESG on the WESG stream with Rotterdam, Loco, and Rapid. So it's going to be some fun games. It's going to be a lot of action. It should be really fun. It should be really awesome. And as you see, this probe pulling away from the main base. Doesn't want to stick around all too much. A couple drones jumping into the extractor. And this hatch gas and pool opening on the way here from Namshar, getting set and ready. A couple of Queens and some Zerglings on the way out from Namshar as well, so getting that ready to roll as this Overlord moving in towards the natural expansion. Cybercore is about to complete. Some extra Lings and Queens continuing to be on the way out here as well. So continuing with those, the probe production coming through, and it's a sentry first from SKillous, something that's a little bit different from the typical Adept. It does slow down the tech because it's very gas heavy in the early stages. Generally means we probably won't see a Stargate, but instead something like a Robo or so as well, because then the sentry can be used in some of the attacks. And it's going to be a Stalker follow-up, so again, definitely not looking to be a any sort of a Stargate opening. Or if it is, it's definitely not going to be a Phoenix. But I feel like everything you build right now here for SKillous just moves further and further away from the Stargate. So there you go, Robo facility dropping down right away. So Robo Facility coming in as we do see the Zerglings chased away by that sentry. So sentry doing a little bit of damage so far. Lings jumping in towards the main base. Another Zergling going down here. Another Pro picked off actually. A little bit of back and forth at the moment. Stalking the sentry, picking off. Again, a few more Lings so far. Ling speed about halfway done from Namshar. And this Overlord just sitting out the front as the Twilight Council dropping down in the main base. The Robo Facility about to finish up too. So it's a very fast attack in towards... Well, I wonder if it's just Resonating Glaives here actually, because I look at this and I think, well, the Robo Facility gives you a Warp Prism, right? But if there's going to be any sort of Templar Archives or Dark Shrine, it's way too late in terms of the timing. Okay, there we go. It's going to be an Immortal. But then what do you do with an Immortal and a Fast Twilight? Well, probably charge, right? Rather than Glaives. But it is looking to be very aggressive here from SKillous, so almost like a bit of a Soul Train. As we do see this Chrono Boost coming through. Let's just see what the choice is. I think Charge, if you go Immortals, I think Charge is a bit more of a popular choice. Resonating Glaives initially is very good, and then you back it up with Immortals and you kind of go forward timing can work as well. But in this case, if you're building the Immortals with at the same time as the Twilight upgrade, Charge is definitely the better option. So there you go, Charge dropping down. You can already see it after 2 Immortals, he's pulled completely out of gas to SKillous, just getting as much mineral income as possible. Okay, he's got a bit of gas in the natural. This is smart. So by seeing these workers mining on the gas here, if the Overlord was to scout in, he was like, oh, okay, so you're mining gas. But he's not going to get information on the gas in the main, so it's a bit of a trick. And it's quite a nice little trick as well. I mean, you don't really want that much gas as SKillous in this build order, I don't think, but I think he's just said, well, you know what, if I mine that little bit, I can still add, an extra sentry in or so. And it also sells the idea if he does scout, it kind of sends him on the wrong pathway in terms of what his response is going to be to this. As we do have those Lings continuing down to the bottom left side. So Battlecore, how you doing? Thank you so much for the 9-month resub. Nice to heal, be casting WSG, well deserved. Thank you so much. It's nice to finally get back to primary events. It's been a year since I casted anything offline. I guess I casted the Clash Invitational, but that's it. Like, it's been a long time. After I did so many events in 2017 and 2018. It's a real shame. Feels bad, man, as he is. We see this army coming across. SKillous pressing over to the right-hand side. The Lings from Namshar are going to go diving in towards the natural. Couple of pylons here, the gates to the front as well. I mean, that's a good wall-off. Going to target down the Cybercore. Don't think that's really dangerous because, well, he doesn't really want to warp in anything off the Cybercore. Maybe an extra sentry is about all I can think of. Namshar send him into Roaches and Ravagers, but he's on 51 drones, which is quite a lot. And I feel like maybe a bit too many. He doesn't really know that this was coming, so he's playing a little bit blind. He's got a Spine Crawl up now. A couple Queens in the front are soaking some shots, which is nice. I like the Immortal juggling forward to make sure he gets in towards those Roaches ASAP. Needs to pick that Immortal up now, though. Ooh, Warp Prism actually has to unsiege to back away from a Corrosive Bow, which means the next Zealot Warping is delayed. There's no another Corrosive Bow here. There is in a moment. Hits on the Prism, but the Warping is there. But losing the Prism is still huge, because now these Zealots are going to be, obviously, the only ones he has. He also loses Micro Potential on the Immortals. It might not matter as SKillous seemingly has enough to keep pressing in here. That Immortal is so low, but it's starting to regenerate shields. It'll have a barrier back in a moment as well. So I think this Immortal is actually going to be okay for a moment or two, but then the Lings get through. And this is where the effect of losing the Prism is huge, because if he hadn't lost the Prism, there's another round of Zealots ready to go already. So those Lings don't get on the Immortals don't die. This is a very different setup. Those Ravagers, absolutely crucial here. What a defense as Namshar continues to gather together over on the right. The Warp Prism from SKillous coming through the middle of the map. A lot of Zealots. The Adept getting ready. 4 more Zealots warping in. And SKillous coming over to the right side. Just going to keep on pushing. So that's going to charge forwards. I'm just going to go after the Spine and those Roaches, but just a few too many units here, and SKillous definitely just does not have enough. Full cleanup, and that's going to be GG's. Namshar takes it 2-0 and moves through to the semi-finals to play. Let's party. To the top left-hand side, our red Protoss player. Game number 1 of this best of 5 series. This is GunGFuBanDa. Up against the blue Zerg in the bottom right-hand side from Infinity Gaming, we've got Denver. So, game 1. Best of 5 series, and obviously gives you a little bit more room for exploration, a little bit more room for adventure. especially on the Protoss side of things, switching up the builds a little bit. The openings is going to be very important. That's sort of a setup here, as we see obviously on the other side. Denver is, I mean, typically a very standard player. He will throw in a couple of all-ins here and there, I feel. Against Protoss, I'm not so sure. I'm not sure what sort of style he's favoring in ZVP lately as well, so we'll pick up on a little bit of that very shortly, I'm sure, as we do see this hatchery from Denver currently building up, this Overlord coming through and passing over the high ground as the probe of GunGFuBanDa comes in from the upper left-hand side. Slowly Scout here coming across, the extractor dropping down from Denver, so hatch gas and pool has an opening here on Port Alexander as well. Pretty typical stuff so far, as we do see that probe going to be getting across in towards the natural / main in the next few moments, and we do continue onward. Very exciting so far, I know. So yeah, so far pretty standard stuff, and obviously we'll have a few moments here before we really get into towards anything which takes a bit of a crazier turn. Let's have this probe just patrolling away on the third base. We do see one probe coming in over from the side, putting that pylon down. It's a good pylon to have, especially in the current meta of Nida's network, so making sure you've got that vision to the corners of your base. Obviously the pylon not much vision right now, but boom, it lights up the sky or the side of Port Alexander as it finishes up. And you can hide some tech over here as well, probably a Stargate with where it's positioned. It's going to be one of those structures that benefits from being a bit to the side and close to the main. Not much, but it's a slight difference. It's also one of those structures, I mean, the one negative of having tech structures over here is always going to be the vulnerability to drop play. Denver is someone who now and again will mix in those dropper lords if he plays a Roach Hydra style and kind of drop into the main, and then the Stargate's in a lot of trouble. The benefit is the Stargate, if you're being dropped, is probably not the kind of most kind of needed tech. If you need a Stargate later in the game, it's usually because, okay, late game Zerg moving in towards Broodlords, or I guess maybe Lurkers. You can get, you can put the Stargate back into play on mutas too, but generally if they're invested into Roach Hydra and they're dropping, losing the Stargate is not going to be end of the world, like, oh my god, I need that extra unit right now to be able to hold. So that's something to, it's not the, it's the negative to it, to putting it to the side, isn't really going to come into effect, I don't think. It's not like you throw down like the Twilight Council here at the start of a PvT or something, and then you get denied your 2-2 upgrades because you lose the Twilight to a drop or something, right? Is what I'm trying to say. And it means those drops are so uncommon anyways as well, so I'm just going on a bit of a rant to have something to talk about more than anything else, because I think it's not going to be too influential. As we do see the Oracle going to Chrono Boost out, and there is a Phoenix to come up behind this. A couple of Queens popping in from Denver in the next few moments. The third hatchery finishing up very shortly as well. You can see that Oracle just heading down to the bottom right side. There's a few Zerglings from Denver showing up over on the left. So Oracle continues over to the bottom right. Robot facility starting up as well here from GunGfu. Couple of Assimilators on the way down. Spore Crawlers building up as well. A few more drones. And there's that Oracle just going to fly right in, already picking up a couple of workers here. Spore is able to push the Oracle away. And the Evo Chamber to keep this drone alive. That's smart, because if you build a Spore Crawler, yes, you need a Spore Crawler here, but it will die to the Oracle because it's just not far enough built. So building the Evo Chamber gives it more health faster, because an Evo Chamber has more health than a Spore. And then when the Oracle leaves, you can cancel and rebuild into a Spore. That's very smart, because that would have been a dead Spore and a dead drone probably if he had tried to just build a Spore at the start. So good little response there from Denver. Really love that little play as he goes in towards his lair. Not too quickly or anything, probably just going straight to Hydras though. Like I say, as he throws down the Roach Drone a moment or so later. Well, the Roach Drone suggests obviously Roaches and Roach speed initially. If he'd skipped the Roach Drone completely, then it would have been straight to Hydras almost definitely. So, give me full my slightly bad timing of just saying what was up there. And as the extra gateways dropping down, if you look back at GunGFuBanDa, he's getting the Warp Prism up actually, and he's got 4 gates, he's got Twilight Council. That means that Temple Archives is a pretty typical follow-up from this point, and there it is dropping down now in the back of the Natural. Adepts pressing forwards, and a few of them coming all the way down at the bottom. Single Zergling taken down by the Zealot, but does see the third base being placed, so it's some good information from those Zerglings. A couple of Queens coming over too, and the Phoenix going to be chipping away at the Overlord, pushing that away in towards the main base. So that Overlord getting pushed back a bit as well, or pushed around a little bit as well. And this Warp Prism Again, coming through the top side of the map, as we have Templar Archives, Forge, Extra High Templar, and I mean Charge as well, all continue to come on up now. There's a couple of Archons already going to start morphing in. Just going to see a couple of extra pylons dropping down as well on the third base, so really just securing this position. Obviously one of those is actually a shield battery too, so this is a nice little choked up area as well for these units to hide behind. I like it. As the Lings do try and go darting in towards the natural. They're actually going to fight the Zealot here. Oh my god, the probes are going to pull through. Well, the Oracle is here to defend as well. This Zealot will go down. There is no other warping to kind of help out with this. The Zealot's warp on the natural. Maybe we're needed in the main. There is 2 in the main. And Adept and a Zealot. Lings will get a couple of probes here though generally. Oh my god, he actually could have had 1, but he backs away. I guess at this point he's just saying, yeah, these units are going to clean me up. But it's nice, right? He used a lot of the Oracle energy by running around so much. He forced in extra gateway units that were not necessarily needed right then and there otherwise. And in the meantime, the Archons were obviously not able to be controlled brilliantly and kind of do as much as they wanted to because he was dealing with the run-by. So he dropped them down, took some damage, and then just got out without anything really dying. So far, I mean, it was a fair few Lings for Denver to lose, yes, but he got some benefits outside of just straight up killing things here. So I wouldn't say it's been a disaster or anything along those lines at least. More Prism continues down to the bottom. The Roaches of Denver going to be coming across the map as well. The Overseer getting picked off in the next couple of moments. There it is. Overseer taken down. Zealots and Adepts from GunGFuBanDa hanging out with this Oracle underneath. Roaches of Denver continuing to cross over to the left side. And we are going to be seeing those Zealots going to start charging forwards. I mean, a lot of Roaches. The Archons on the wrong side of the map. The Warp Prism not being recalled, surprisingly enough. He's obviously very confident to hold on anyways, but this Immortal is kind of not in a pretty spot either. I don't think Denver has enough to keep fighting now with a few Zealots in front. I thought maybe before he could like dive on the Immortal when the Zealots were behind it, but now a little bit too late and those Roaches are just going to have to go running. The Warp Prism is still trying to come back into the main base and is lining itself to get in here in the next few moments, so those Zealots keep pushing through. Archons in the main, going to find a Hydra or so that are popping out, and well, there's a few more Hydras coming in. I like this. He was handing those Hydras straight in towards the Warp Prism. So he got some good damage. Very close to going down. Oh my god, it's 1 hit from death. Good save as we see an Adept or 2 on the top side. Some drones going down here and there. Denver still holding on for the most part as he goes into this Roach Hydra style. And let's see what his follow-up's going to be as well, because he doesn't. He does already have the Lurker Den. Sorry. Okay. Wow. I've been so focused on whatever's been happening elsewhere on the map that I just didn't even realize that Denver's built a minute and a half long structure. Lurker Den is already in play for Denver, so having this already set to go, that's actually pretty good info. Pretty good for Denver, who is lagging a little bit, so give him a moment or two to sort this out. But yeah, already having that Lurker Den is going to help him out a whole bunch. Now, as we do see him getting ready to push across, he can morph Lurkers in and just push straight in towards the third base. Alright, looks like Denver is good. Just going to double check if GunGFu is good as well. And we will resume right away. And let's continue as we have got Roaches and Hydra still pressing across. Some Lurkers will start to morph in. A couple of them on the way down. It's not a load of Lurkers right away. There is no storm yet, so actually... yeah, there is no storm yet. I see the Tide Temple. I'm like, wait, is there a storm? No. He hasn't started either. I wonder if GunGFu thinks he has, because obviously it's kind of weird to... well, kind of keep High Templar building up energy if you don't have Storm. The lack of Storm means the Hydras on their own kind of do that a little bit better. Oh, the Lurker support definitely... what is going on with my PC today? It just keeps hanging up a little bit. Roach is pulling back then to the bottom side. Hydras and Lurkers are setting up to push in towards this fourth base. On the other side of the map themselves charging forwards. 2 or 3 drones already down. Extra Ling's going to run in. And this round is going to shut down the Zealots. The Zealots will all be picked off. So Zealots all going down. And again, Hydras and Lurkers on the bottom, pushing forwards. So you see GunGFu going to head storm up to the high ground. It's going to end up a rainstorm. Doesn't really do much. Hits a few of the Lurkers in the front. That Lurker unfortunately paths the wrong way, but still is able to make it around to the rest of the army. So Lurker staying alive, and the Zerglings now pressing forward. Going to be going in. Sets off a stasis ward. 1 Lurker burrowed already on this high ground. Well, Hydra's pushing up this position. The rest of the lurkers are all the way down to the low ground, though, and that's going to be a dead overseer as well. Denver just not really finding the angle he wants here as the Zals go charging into the natural. Plenty of roaches to come and deal with this, though. It's already been a few Hydra kills, so I'd say it's already been successful. Even just pulling those units away for a little while is usually nice as those Lings pop out of stasis, and they probably could have got the Immortal here if they'd stayed on it. And sets off the other Immortal's barrier. Those Immortals still up on the high ground. Hydra's passing through, sits in this storm. Denver not paying attention because his army to the opposite top side was also not fighting there. Another storm and Immortals continue to press through this. And that's GG. GunGFuBanDa's just cleaned everything up and does pick up game number 1 of this. As we see, the Nexus is on the top left side. This is our red Protoss player, GunGFuBanDa. Up 1-0 in the series. Top right, our blue Zerg is Denver from Infinity Gaming. So, to get this started up, it's going to be the early game probe scout once again. Year 0, obviously quite a large map. Typically becomes a little bit harder to push across then, and so the Zerg attacks with Roach Hydra are that little bit, a little bit harder to kind of make happen. It's a very easily set of bases to defend to, so it'd be interesting to see if Denver changes up his style, because I definitely feel like he might. As we do see this probe just scouting around in the main base, having a look to see what's going on. Drones coming over to mine, and Extractor will drop in the main base as well. Forge on the way up quickly here from GunGfu, so he is going to go for a bit of a cannon rush to try and take an advantage here in game number 2. First pylon already dropping down, and the drone obviously sees this happening, so Forge might not be so successful here in the end as the probe backs away. Probably just throw down the Nexus at home now and then still have the minerals to start a cannon if he wants to. Does just mean he's going to be missing the... Oh, he drops down a cannon there. Pylon here. And then a gateway on this side, but then the cannon is still exposed. Sorry, not a pylon, but a cannon there. I guess this cannon is going to come up because it's not going to get this cannon killed fast enough. Alright, so no Nexus just yet, obviously, as he continues to commit to this. The thing is, I think these drones do break through, and then they get to this cannon. There's that cancel last second. Cannon is 5 seconds from finishing. The drones are going to have it low, but he's going to lose some drones if he wants to continue trying to kill this here. Oh, that's unfortunate. He loses, loses the chance to kill a drone. That regeneration is so annoying, making the drones not get 2 shots. And it's just going to be seeing Denver pulling more drones and Lings across. Another cannon will go down. I mean, this gateway is not going to finish, right? Is he actually going to let this gateway finish? That's so interesting. Cannon finishes up, picks away at a few more Zerglings. And that's another low health drone. So 3 workers killed for all of this so far. Back at home, the Nexus now only just starts. And this gateway is just under fire. I mean, the gateway is just money invested that he's not going to get back, and he's not going to get anything out of. This seems as though it's been a little bit of a disaster. Lings is going to be picking away at this gateway, so that's going to drop the pylon. Will go down as well. This gateway pylon getting picked off here as we see the lair starting up from Denver. So he's going to go straight into the lair as the follow-up here, and I think when the idea is, the fast lair, the Nidus network most likely, is going to be very powerful because GunGfu has wasted a lot of money to not really achieve anything in these early stages. And Denver just wants to capitalize on that and just try and win this game very quickly then. He actually has an overload all the way to the left-hand side here. And there is this kind of little gap down here that isn't seen so often by Protoss players on Year 0, so there's definitely a little area to drop this Nidus into that GunGfu is not likely to expect it on. And he's coming up the ramp, 2 Adepts. And they will actually shade after those Zerglings to try and chase them down and get kills. Lings could maybe turn around now that these Adepts... Oh, great turn! Just as the Adept shade finishes. What a catch! And that Adept is going to keep on running, but the Slowlings will not get the kill. Oh my god, how does the... So many units are like surviving on like the last little second. 10 more Zerglings on the way up. Link speed is about to finish up, and we do see the Overlord just hanging in the top left. Again, there's that Nidus network, so getting ready to go for this. Again, it's going to be tough. I mean, the Robo facility is about to complete. GunGfu needs to like Chrono Boost and Immortal ASAP. He's going to build an observer, then he cancels it. Okay, now he starts a warp prism if extra gateways coming through. No, now he cancels and he starts an immortal. He really didn't know what he wanted here. So he really doesn't know what he was wanting. As you see, the Zerg's coming across again. Oh no, the Adepts weren't properly walled off on the front though, so the Ling was able to come straight in. Taking their way through these Adepts. First Adept already down, second Adept taking damage. Well, I'm not sure how much the Immortal's going to do against Lings and Queens. As obviously the Night's Network in the main is seen. Immortal being chrono boosted so he can jump straight onto this. Probes will pull it in as well. There's not going to be like a ton of transfuse energy or anything. He has the Queens pop out, but is there a transfuse? There is one. Buys a little bit of time. Next Nidus needs to start up soon. That's enough. Denver's actually... The Nidus was super low, but the Lings get out. And Cove. Top left-hand side, our Blue Zerg player from Infinity Gaming. This is Denver. Up against the Red Pros on the bottom right-hand side, we've got GunGFuBanDa. That's everybody doing today. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, hit a follow on the channel. We are 100 followers away from 39,000. So getting very, very close to 40,000 followers, which is awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And continue to follow the stream, support, and all of that good stuff. Really enjoying. We are also fast approaching the 500 subscriber marker again. We're 474 out of 500. So if you want to help us out with that, you've got a Twitch Prime sub. You can subscribe to the channel for free. If you just want to support in general, then subscription goes a long way. It's one of the best ways to support the channel. It helps us run more of these events in the future as well as just in general continuing to cast StarCraft 2 games. So do check that out as we get ourselves going here in Game 3 of Denver and GunGFuBanDa. For the moment, a probe heading down to the bottom right-hand side of the map here from GunGFu. Has been across, has seen the 3 bases, and is now just coming home very quickly, actually. Doesn't stick around at all. Usually you see the probe starts coming home when the Ling's on the way out, so he comes home like when the Adept is basically arriving on the other side. Not quite going to be the case this time. There's a couple of Zerglings coming through. And there is the Stargate from GunGFuBanDa starting up at the moment as well. So Stargate on the way, as an Adept coming up, Warpgate starting to build also. Couple of Queens still coming out, and Ling Speed from Denver just now getting started. So Ling Speed on his way up here, as we do see the Adept from GunGFu heading towards the upper left-hand side. Just looking to maybe poke in a little bit and get some pressure done. The 2 Lings are allowed straight into the main base though, so as they come through, they'll get a full scout on the main, and we'll be able to see the Stargate. If he goes far enough in, he's actually going to stop to kill a probe. GunGFuBanDa almost feels like he just went to BRB there. He's actually not going to get the scout of the Stargate, but he will kill a probe. He forces a probe pull. On the other side of the map, the Adept does not get any kills either. Good Spore Crawler build from Denver to minimize damage taken here. Again, Gateway just going to complete this wall off now, so wall off being completed. Ling Speed continuing up as well. It's just over halfway done, coming to completion shortly. As we are going to be seeing the Oracle on the way out of the Stargate. Phoenix nibbling its way through the Overlord. Some damage continuing to be dealt. So Overlord does get picked off here by Denver. By GunGFu, sorry, and Denver does hit a supply block because of it. So getting caught in a little bit of a supply block. The Phoenix going to now head across the map into second Stargate. So after the Oracle to help defend against Lings and so on, and maybe harass a little bit early, you will be going into a lot more Phoenix play. And we're going to be seeing double Stargate Phoenix from GunGFu. I gotta get so far, he's been changing up his builds every game in this series, and I think that's very important to do, especially in the best of 5. Keep your opponent on the ball, keep your opponent on edge. Don't let them ever feel too comfortable, right, or fall into a comfort zone or anything like that, as we do see the couple of Adepts from GunGFu heading up to the top side of the map. And as the Phoenix and the Oracle from GunGFu going to fly on in. Going to jump for a couple of drones. Squawkle able to push that Oracle off over the left-hand side, and again the Phoenix going to be able to nibble its way through the Overlord, so Overlord taking quite a bit of damage. 7 drones down. I can see Ling's drones coming back in towards the third base, and again a couple of Adepts from GunGFu back down the right-hand side. Lair about to finish up here from Denver. So they're finishing, and again the Adepts continuing down to the bottom right. GunGfu just going to come into the front. Zeld standing there as well. Oracle coming back down to the bottom right side too, as you see the Hydralisk Den is about halfway done. So Hydroden about halfway along here. Nexus drops down on the third base as well, as we see the Zerglings starting to press themselves on the front, trying to fight their way through that side. Not much done here so far though, as we see the Groove Spines coming in. So that Hydra force continuing to build up at the moment. Again, a couple of extra Phoenix still on the way out. All these Phoenix from GunGfu coming all the way back to the top left-hand side of the map. You see the Queens getting lifted. Phoenix able to pick their way through this, and just going to be seeing the Hydras and the Queens picking around. GunGFuBanDa is a former cheater. Not really. GunGFuBanDa got banned from WCS because when he was losing in a WCS qualifier, he said, "Dude, I will pay you if you leave the game right now," or something. It was a bit stupid. He was pretty young. I feel like he didn't actually cheat. He didn't actually buy a win. It didn't actually happen. He wasn't actually going to do it. He did get banned and punished. I feel like calling him a cheater is just shitting on people for the sake of shitting on people. So this was like literally 4 or 5 years ago. And it's like the one incident that he's there's like one incident he's ever been involved in. I think GunGfu is probably pretty okay. I don't think he's really a cheater. As we do see the Baneland is dropping down in the main base, Evo Chamber as well. A lot of Hydras obviously up here to continue defending against these Phoenix. So you see the Hydras continue to push over to the left-hand side, and we are going to be seeing the Phoenix taking quite a bit of damage. Baneland's about to finish up from Denver. More and more Hydras continue to come through as well. And we do see the +1 missile attack on the way in. I mean, I'm pretty sure he said something like, "I'll give you $1,000 if you leave the game." During like the early rounds of a WCS qualifier, like, who's gonna pay $1,000? Like WCS back then, I guess, was like $2,000 if you qualified, but like, it was like in round 3 out of like a 10-round qualifier. So it's like, it's not like he was gonna qualify just by winning that one game, right? So yeah, I don't know. It was pretty stupid, but it was a long time ago. I don't think it's fair to say or call him a cheater nowadays for something that happened so much further ago in the past, so long ago. He took a long break from StarCraft 2, GunGFuBanDa. He just came back more recently, and he's been really killing it lately. So that is pretty fun to see as we have these Phoenix flying around in the middle of the map. You can see Overlords, a couple of them getting picked away at. A couple of Overlords going down here. That's actually really nice. And he catches a couple of Hydras on their own as well. The main Hydra force to the right-hand side. So these Phoenix really having a good time. He kills the Overseer too. That's a bit of a shame. He just stands in the main Hydra force for a little bit longer than he wanted, I think. That was actually the only thing wrong with this, though, because otherwise GunGfu did a lot of damage. Now the Phoenix, though, are backed into a corner. Baneland's morphing is. Denver's going to turn this into a very aggressive counterattack. Stasis Ward's here to hold the front lines, though. Every single stasis will buy GunGfu those few extra seconds that he might need. He's getting Blink up, so he'll have Blink to help out. Firstling sets off the first stasis. There's one more stasis further back here. A couple of force fields dropping down. Hydra's still getting picked away at. And we're just going to be seeing the stasis ward coming out over to the right. Again, Hydra's Banes pushing up the ramp. A couple more force fields dropping down, and we are going to be seeing Stalkers and Immortals still fighting at the front. Never Baneling picked off. These Hydras getting picked away. And again, a few more Stalkers being warped in as well as we see things Hydras and Banes back over to the right-hand side. Another Stasis Ward on the way up. Does catch just a few of those Lings, and so far, GunGfu is defending. I mean, here on King's Cove, as you do see GunGfu just still hanging around. A few more Lings. Just going to finish up. Ling gets picked off. Again, Hydras and Bane's going to push up this ramp. Phoenix going to keep pressing forwards. couple of Banes. I mean, Banes don't do brilliantly against the Stalkers, and the Stalkers blinking back. I like the Phoenix coming back in, lifting whatever they can, just doing anything they can to keep tilting this fight into GunGFu's favor just that little bit further. Blinking forwards now, these Hydras being chased, and that is problematic for Denver. If he can't clean up these Stalkers, he's going to get chased for days, and he loses a lot of units in that process. Denver in general in trouble, though. A lot of Stalkers and Immortals here. Going into Colossus too, so this Link-Bait Hydra force is going to be countered very shortly. Nexus is going to drop down here, and you do see the Hydras, and Ling is able to jump on it. Nexus gets cancelled. Zerglin's pressing forwards again, and it's going to be seeing those continue to be cleaned out. And again, those Lings dropping down in towards the third base. Hydras continue to move along as well. Phoenix all dead now, so they can't help out any longer, but the Colossus showing up is just so amazing against Hydras and Lings. I mean, it does bonus damage to lightning. That's pretty much what everything is here, apart from the Banes. Banes do get on top of the walls there, popping all the barriers off, but then the Hydras will maybe only kill a couple. So that's going to be GG, and GunGFu will take the lead of the series once again. It's... Surely be yell at you in happiness, like, yeah! You're hitting sub goals! Go everybody! Sub goals are fun. Sub goal is tempting. How about everyone chips in a little bit? We get a couple subs and we tempt user into like maybe dropping the sub goal. You know, we just claw out, you know, we just go a little bit closer maybe. It's tough, man. 26 subs to go. It's like, it's not that clean 25 sub bomb to round it out to 500, is it? Right? It's like, yeah, 26 subs. It's just that one away from being a nice, decent number. Okay, bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg. Red Protoss, sorry, is GunGFuBanDa. As we do have to the top right-hand side, the blue Zerg player is Denver. What's up, NC Grim, coming in with a 3-month resub. Thank you so much for the 3 months. Much appreciated. Thank you indeed. Yeah, I'm not really worried about the sub goal right now. I'm actually very happy with the sub count, especially because I'm going away next week anyways. It'll probably drop off again a little bit, to be fair. The sub count is pretty good, considering that I took a very slow week, the week before Katowice, then I casted at the B stream for Katowice. When we come back March, April, we'll push the sub goal a lot harder, and we'll have a lot more content we'll be casting all of the time. So that's kind of the plan. As we do see the probe coming down here from GunGFu. They come and just try and block the third base for the next few moments. Zergs generally do tend to prefer expanding downwards here on New Repugnancy rather than outwards towards this kind of pocket third, which is what the Protoss players generally do tend to take, just taking this high ground and being able to ping-pong between these two bases very easily rather than kind of ping-ponging between here and here. It gets very tough if the Zerg comes up like this ramp and gets into that concave. It's interesting the different expansions that different races take in each matchup. It's always one of my favorite things to kind of talk about when we have new maps and so on, and to theorize about and the advantages and so on. It's fun. Well, we do see an Adept just shading forwards at the moment. Coming down to the bottom right-hand side of the map here. Link speed is on the way up from Denver, just about halfway done. Some of the Zerglings just nibbling their way through those rocks, so I'm just going to go down. Queen still actually attacking that Adept and just putting some damage out as the third hatchery is actually going to end up coming up on this pocket expanse. It does expand here in the end. Oracle Chrono boosting out the Stargate in the back of the main. Stalker from GunGFuBanDa is going to press onto that Overlord as well. And Overlord taking quite a bit of damage here at the moment, so Overlord taking some hits, is going to fall. And a second gateway just going to complete this wall off at the front, so wall off at the front here going to be completed. And it's Twilight Council pretty quick after the Stargate, so definitely feels like something a bit interesting, maybe even Resonating Glaze with the Twilight coming in so much faster than the Robo facility. Battle GunGFu has got some cheeky little kind of aggressive build kind of set up where he's going to go for Or kind of set the idea out of going for a an all-in. Maybe with like charge or something, if an all-in is possible. I think Glaives is the more popular choice at this point though, right? I mean, you've got no Robo, so Templar Archives would really be out of nowhere. There we go, Resonating Glaives, the pick here from GunGFuBanDa. As you have the Oracle flying over in towards the natural expansion. Queen going to jump on towards that Oracle pretty quickly. And again, just going to be seeing the extra gates up in the main, so really getting set for this fast Adept play. Lair on the way from Denver. If he goes straight to Hydras here, he might be in a little bit of trouble against the Adepts. He does have a Roach Rowan, so he can build Roaches, and I think they'll be very important when it comes to defending, as we see the Oracle even picking off a Creep Tumor at the front, so really trying to deny creep spread here. Give those Adepts a bit more freedom, a bit more kind of invisibility, able to move on the map a certain amount before they get seen. Third base gets taken, Glaives over halfway done. The Adept count going to rise up pretty quickly now that these extra gateways have finished. Again, Lair about to complete from Denver, so he can start going into his extra tech, but he has built a good few Roaches. Biggest issue with Roaches against the Adepts is going to be the fact that I think the biggest thing with the Roaches against the Adepts is that the Roaches are just very immobile, so you can oftentimes end up in a very tough position trying to catch up with the Adepts when they move all over the place. See what the Adepts do. They'll shade forwards here, get a couple of Creep Tumors for the moment, maybe a Queen actually. Queen taking a lot of damage and is not going to get away in time, so first Queen falls. Sees the Roaches there, sees the Roaches here. And that is probably just a time to threaten the shade forwards, so the Roaches have to pull back. And then you can just walk away with the Adepts. And giving the Adepts up, and Immortal being Chrono Boosted out, but he's also getting the Forge. So it feels like GunGfu is not going to go fully in towards that kind of Resonating Glaives Immortal kind of follow-up attack that's really committed. More Adepts warping in on the Warp Prism at the moment. Denver does see this, sees that warping happening. So has a bit of an idea, is already moving some Roaches further back to the natural. They can respond to the main base very easily as well. The other Adepts are still positioning down on the bottom right-hand side. So here we go, 8 Adepts shading in. Adepts towards the main. The Roaches here have to stay true to where they've positioned themselves. But the third bay, the natural expansion is completely exposed right away, so that's going to be a Queen going down. Some of these drones will be in some trouble. The Adepts in the main unable to do anything at the moment. These Adepts going to find themselves 7 workers as they shade towards the third base. Oh, this Adept number's been halved, so now he's just going to dive for a few more drones. Probably the best he can get done is 10 workers dead. And all of those Adepts should go down. Maybe not the one in the front. It actually stops running, so it will drop. Okay, 8 Adepts for 10 drones, though. I mean, not bad. He's going to go into a Blink follow-up, interestingly enough, rather than going to charge here. You see some Adepts from the Warp Prism in the main. That was in the main, now back onto the third. And, well, Denver's moving across the map, so these extra Adepts are actually doing a good little bit of extra damage. Denver being kept back quite a lot now, as we're going to see 2 Adepts actually do shade towards the natural. Will get picked off, but now Adepts in the main base as well. Roaches on the third base are going to cause some issues. There is not anything really here just yet. The Immortals were not in position, so immediately that 7 probes gone. Good force fields will hold some of those Roaches off, and that should be enough for these Immortals to play cleanup. But then he loses the sentries, because the few Roaches did get on top of the sentries. That's painful. More Adepts actually ended up over here, and they are still fighting these Adepts in the natural. The Roaches being pushed away, the Immortals still fighting as well. A couple more probes going down, the drone count still dropping. It's now 19 drones killed to the 10 probes. And we see the the Swarm Host player coming up from Denver. Well, there's not really much to deal with Swarm Host very easily here for GunGFuBanDa. He is in a position where he doesn't really have any splash damage. He's building Blink, which I just feel, what is that going to do against Locusts? I don't feel Stalkers trade well against Locusts at all, as you see extra Adepts shading into the main. Just going to press forwards, go after a couple of these drones. A few drones going down. Sporeclaw and the Queen there, able to keep pushing this Prism away through the top side. Surgeons of Denver running away from the left-hand side as well. Again, more Swarm Hosts continuing to come up. Roaches continuing to come out as well. And the Prism back into the main base as those Adepts going to drop down and pick their way through this extractor a little bit. Again, another drone or two going to get picked away at you. 4 workers killed, going to come down. 5, 6 workers killed. I mean, it's really good harassment from Denver. I just don't see how he wins the fight against the Swarm Host. From GunGFuBanDa, I just don't see how GunGfu wins a fight against the Swarm Host, though. This is really tough. I mean, the Locust drops straight down. You'll just see immediately an Immortal gets targeted. Doesn't quite go down, but it gets brought very low. And that was just the first few Swarm Hosts. There are more Swarm Hosts on the way. And the real dangerous part of this is going to be when the Swarm Hosts are going to fight at the same time as the Roaches. You get the Locusts in front, the Roaches back it up, so it's a lot of damage output. And the Roaches just back away when the Locust dies, so you're never really losing anything of like real importance. This is weird though, the Roaches actually get caught by the Stalkers on the top side. The Locusts get popped even though the rest of the Swarm Hosts weren't ready. These Stalkers having a bit of a fun time. They were blinking in to kill those Ravagers, blinks in to chase the Roaches as well. Well, now the Swarm Hosts are kind of in the middle of the map and the Stalkers are coming through the top side. This is getting a little bit weird and funky. A lot of the Locusts off cooldown, but a lot of them actually still on it as well. You will find the Swarm Hosts here, but then the rest of the army comes in from the right side, and this is where GunGfu is maybe in a bit of trouble. The Locusts are on their way over to try and help. The Immortals currently only hitting Zerglings, so Zerglings in the front doing a great job of shutting down the Immortal damage on the Roaches. Another blink forwards, another Roach going down. Adepts in the main base, Locust counter-attack pressure. Very good against the Swarm Hosts as well, which obviously are not very good at dealing with counter-attacks like this because of the way they have to pull back, use Locusts. Just doesn't really work very well. He stays in the main base rather than transferring. Might want to save a few of those Adepts because he's not going to do too much more. He saves all 4 that he can. GunGfu is still hurting. He's up 20 workers, but his army supply is down. He needs to be able to hold on another couple of fights. He's killed over 30 drones this game. He's traded pretty evenly. Just needs to hold on maybe a couple of fights or so, trading well. And he's absolutely going to knock this out the park. I don't think Denver saw the stasis ward being placed as Adepts again find 6 more drones. The Locusts are going to fly over. Oh, but he's going to jump on the Swarm Host. Oh my god, this is so bad for Denver. He's going to lose 4 Swarm Hosts already. More on the way down. I mean, these Swarm Hosts just being chased. Now they're on cooldown as well because it's okay. They're going to kill the 3rd base, yes. But now this is Denver's chance to fight the rest of this army without the Locust. He doesn't seem to have enough. He's having to pull away. He's losing a lot of Immortals in that process. He's going to turn to fight now, but maybe just a little bit too late. He's lost all of his Immortals, so the Roaches will go down so much slower. Blinking back, he has got a stasis ward to maybe help. He could blink on top of the Ravagers. Once the Ravagers are exposed, they'll go down very quickly. They don't have an armor tag. 111 to 50 army supply, 39 to 50 workers, but GunGfu lost his 3rd base here, having to re-expand down at the bottom side. He is about to get a Dark Shrine added on. There is not an Overseer hanging out with the army at the moment. With the Stalkers, if you can blink in and target down an Overseer, then the DTs can get some damage done as well. Stalker's still coming down the bottom, 3rd base killed off. There come the DTs, a blink forwards as well, and again, it's going to see a couple of Roaches and Ravagers picked away at here. DT is still pressing forwards, Overseer's on the way in, couple of corrosive files. Blinks forwards again, he's going to find more units, getting a Swarm Host, getting a couple of them. I mean, again, these blinks, man. As soon as the Locusts aren't on cooldown, or they're just not using their Locusts, they take so much damage, as you're going to be seeing a little bit of creep cleaned up as well. DTs to the bottom side. It's still 3 bases from Denver here, as GunGFuBanDa has to rebuild his 3rd base now, still trying to get this up and running. Currently long distance mining, the income you can see was very good for GunGfu, but then it's definitely dropped back into Denver's favor as he still has those 3 bases to mine from. Oh, I love this. He forces the Locusts out with the Stalkers and then he blinks away. The Stalkers have this mobility that the Locusts and the Swarm Hosts just don't have. Oh, good Roach movement as well. Pops that single Roach on the stasis. I mean, what do you do? These Locusts are just forced out absolutely uselessly, and these Stalkers have so much mobility. You're really struggling to deal with this right now as Denver. As now we see, I mean, DTs into the main. Going to go straight for the Spore Crawl. It means an Overseer has to respond to this. Stalker's going to end up that ramp. Surprised they didn't go for the base, but then he probably knows there's another army coming in elsewhere. So he's very careful about it. DT's getting 6 drones, picking off some Roaches in the main base as well because there's no detection yet. And now we're going to be seeing GunGfu does jump up to this high ground. He is going to go for this expansion. A couple more volleys. He's going to be safe though, backing away very early on. Very safe from GunGfu, very nicely done. 8 workers killed here so far. Again, Stalkers and Observer hanging around on the top, coming through the center. I was going to be seeing a few more Stalkers from GunGfu coming out in towards the middle of the map. Ooh, good blink forwards. Grabs a Ravager, grabs a Roach. Couple more corrosive files coming down. Stalker's still going to fight here, Locust. Going to pop up. Stalkers continue to blink away over to the left-hand side. Again, those Locusts hanging around, though, and still pressing on forwards. Stalkers of GunGfu sitting on the bottom. Roaches and Ravagers from Denver up to the top. More Roaches as well. Streaming on along. Temple Archives drops into the main base. The Roaches of Denver show up, and they are going to be able to pick off this pylon. I mean, GunGFu stabilizing on 3 bases, though, in general, pretty good for him. Looking to be okay. Denver's in trouble, man. He's not got a 4th base. The mobility of these Stalkers is really starting to show as well. Blink available to maybe blink in towards those Roaches. The only thing you gotta be careful of is you don't blink into those Roaches, and the rest of the army is there waiting to fight as well, right? So that's all you gotta be super careful of here. As we see Locust popped again already. I mean, that's just so far in advance of them actually reaching the base. And those Locusts flying through, those Stalkers, well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Blink in, and then suddenly all the Roaches and Ravages are here. Meanwhile, the Locusts, well, they're not actually going to drop on anything in time. They drop so far away. They expire by the time they hit the base, and that's a big mistake by Denver, because it gives GunGFu so much time to just play when he's not actually under any pressure. Another 2 DTs into the main base as well. Just going to see the Stalkers still hanging out, and Denver playing this defensive game on 3 bases. GunGFuBanDa, though, looking good to maybe advance through to the finals. We'll guarantee it's a non-mirror matchup finals. So we do have a TVZ in our second semi-final. I still don't know if MarineLorD or Aquilon won, by the way. Not sure which of them was victorious. We do see the Stalkers continue to fight Roaches and Ravages. Taking some more hits. Stalkers blinking away. The Locusts get used again. This time only half of them, but still, I mean, are they going to do anything? They're trying to maybe... For a moment I thought maybe they'd intercept the Stalkers coming down the bottom side here, moving left, but it doesn't quite happen. Swarm Host from Denver down in towards the low ground. And those Locusts going to expire. Stalkers on the right going to be picking away at a couple more Crypt Tumors. Ravager's turning again. Crows of Vals. The Stalkers just blink away. The Observer continuing down to the bottom side of the map. Still this spread of army from Denver. You can see the Stalkers coming up. Going to blink through. Grabs an Infestor that's just been built. I mean, a Fungal Grove completely nullifies the mobility of these Stalkers. Crows of Vals will hit, but not all of them, before the Stalkers recall back home. Yeah, the Fungal Growth is obviously very good against this sort of setup where you're going to be trying to fungal the Stalkers and then they can't blink away. And this feels like not enough is really getting done here, though. As Roaches do catch the Adepts up. The Stalkers back in the middle of the map. They force the Locusts out again. And these Locusts have just done... I mean, what's the resources lost here? Favorable for GunGFuBanDa. That should never happen when Swarm Hosts are in play. The Swarm Hosts just haven't done anything. The one thing they did was they killed this base here. Other than that, the Stalkers have just completely nullified the Swarm Hosts. Links in again here. Good force fields. Traps the Ravagers. Even more units being lost. The Infestor on the right side. Just drop a Fungal Growth. A few Locusts coming into the fight, but there's only like 3 or 4, so it's not even that many. He's going to be playing the safe game, backing away up the ramp, but then I think he realizes maybe that he can actually fight this, perhaps. I mean, I definitely think he can, but again, he's going to play it safe. He's got the lead now in the supply, which he's been waiting for a little while. All game long, he's been very low on supply because this is a very swarmy army out of Denver. There was definitely moments where this looked scary for GunGFu, but he made a lot of good moves. Moving around the Swarm Host, never allowed them to do any damage. And that's GG. GunGFuBanDa advances to the finals 3-1. GunGFu coming in into it and see what happens. Here on New Repugnancy to the bottom left-hand side, our Blue Terran player from O Gaming is MarineLorD. And at the top right, our Red Zerg from Infinity Gaming is Namshar. So MarineLorD are going to open some proxy racks through the bottom side of the map. Going to be setting these up down to the bottom right side. It's going to be 3 barracks as well, so really committed here. As the first Overlord from Namshar definitely not heading that way. Second Overlord is, but will not go far enough apparently. So, going to be moving down to the bottom side. And there's all 3 of these racks going to be setting up in the next few moments. So first 2 racks on the way, and we are going to be seeing the next racks dropping down in a moment as well. So 3 racks getting set to go as we do see the hatchery, the spawning pool. There was a spawning pool first, and I'm sure already playing pretty safely here, so that's a nice little something for him as the first rack's on the way up. I mean, pool first definitely helps, but it can still go wrong. If you miscontrol a little bit, it means you're actually down a queen, and you know, the lings don't necessarily mean you're guaranteed to kind of be safe here. Namshar obviously again does not go far enough for us to actually see this 3 racks either, so MarineLorD is safe here for the moment. Extractor drops in on the main base. We do just see that orbital command about halfway done. A couple of Marines continue to come up. 3rd racks is about to complete, so just setting up into this, getting this going. As MarineLorD just continue to pump out units and get ready to push those up in towards the natural expansion in these next few moments. Well, the Lings go across the map as well, so they're actually completely out of position, but they can get in towards the main base, right? So that's the issue. MarineLorD kind of needs to speed up the wall off here that he wouldn't usually go for. And as he sees pull first, I wonder if he'll think to do that. Those Lings, I mean, can get so much damage done across the map right now. But again, it does mean that obviously Namshar's missing a bit of a defense. Lings go straight into the main. This is problematic. Supply depot is under fire right away. MarineLorD realizes, okay, your units are across the map. I kind of have to go. He's not going to be able to produce much more here. There isn't a lot available for the Zerg. As the SCV is just going to mine as much as they can. As MarineLorD loses units, he's going to be able to rebuild them for a little while because he does have the money in the bank. So that's probably why he's kind of eager to trade a bit as well. In general, I think it's just the perfect setup from Namshar. 6 Lings across the map already is huge. The drones can fight these Marines with the help of Queens and the Spine Crawler. And Namshar picks up game number 1 with his solid GunGFuBanDa waiting in the grand finals for the winner of this series. As down to the bottom right-hand side, up 1 map, our blue Zerg player. This is Namshar. Top left-hand side, our red Terran player is OGaming's MarineLorD. As he's also, once again, going to send those SCVs across the map. So he's going to try this version 2. Obviously hoping that Namshar doesn't open the same way. Me and Naruto have a bit of a joke between ourselves that, you know, we always end up casting like short series, and we were just laughing, like, out of all the round of 8 matches we casted, the longest one was MarineLorD Acheron. It was like 50 minutes long, and we didn't cast it, right? And, you know, while we casted like GunGFu versus uThermal being like a 2-minute game number 3. And then after MarineLorD Namshar game 1, it's obviously very fast, right? So Naruto's like, well, Wardy, how does it always happen? You know, we just cast, you know, MarineLorD plays a 60-minute best of 3, and he plays a 2-minute game 1, you know, when we're casting. And here we go, with the free racks once again. This Overlord's going to see it this time, so while it's a hatchery first, Namshar gets the information. Overlord is going to show itself to the barracks, so MarineLorD knows it's scouted. But again, hatchery first, so it's a little bit of a different setup, as we are going to be seeing those units head down over to the natural expansion. So MarineLorD coming over here, drone or 2 already being pulled to deny this SCV build the bunker easily. Three Marines building out of time, another Marine coming over, and a couple of drones again trying to fight those SCVs off. I was going to be seeing this one drone getting pushed away up to the high ground. I casted 2 45-minute Serral in no games. I did, but that's not on my stream, right? It's not in my tournament. It's a joke that happens in my tournaments always. In my tournaments, we always seem to get very bad games in the playoffs. So often we've had tournaments that we go to the playoffs, it's like 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. And we're done like 2 hours ahead of schedule because the games were super fast as well. So it's just a little bit of a meme. Obviously, it's not always true. It's just a little bit of a meme between myself and Naruto. This is bad for Namshar, though, man. He's got nothing to really defend with here. The Rotron is coming up. This Queen on the low ground will actually be able to get quite a bit of damage done. Those Marines getting blocked a little bit as they can go in towards the bunker. Just gets that one in there. Good catch on that Queen. Actually gets the surround. It's actually kind of a big deal getting that Queen surround because the Queen, one Queen less to deal with defend means that you've got one less transfusion as well. Obviously, Roaches generally are a little bit stronger, a little bit more sturdy as we see those drones pulling away. But I love the change of direction on the Marines. Does a great job. Suddenly 6 drones down. It really starts to feel like Namshar has taken a lot of damage now, and obviously Marines will jump back down to the low ground. Has that bunker to fight with, although quite a lot of Roaches, a lot of Marines end up dropping here as they run around. That is one of the weaknesses of diving up in towards the main base, of course. Hatchery about halfway done. Can Namshar break through this before the hatchery falls? Makes a big difference keeping this hatchery alive versus not keeping it alive at all. Double refinery at home. MarineLorD getting ready for the mech transition, or the factory transition. From the factory, a starport and a Banshee will be the very safe way to make sure those Roaches do not just straight up win the game, as that's going to be a dead hatchery. At this point, it is a dead hatchery. There's no way you save this, because you can just right-click it down, even if the Roaches do commit in enough to actually get the kill. The hatchery falls, the Broodlings and the Roaches are going to come in together. SCVs took a moment or so to hang back just to make sure they're safe from the broodlings. A lot of Marines actually going to be able to maybe corner these Ravagers in. This is actually really bad. Just dodge the corrosive bars and the Ravagers will die. And that's a lot of expense from Namshar as he loses everything on this low ground. Hatchery and units included. Thank you so much, Charon Free coming in, or Sharon coming in with the Twitch Prime for 4 months as well, by the way. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, supporting the tournaments and everything else. Appreciate it. Alright, well, Namshar's in trouble. Down 8 workers. He lost this, lost these roaches and Ravagers. Down workers, I mean, the bunker can still sit here as well, so it's going to take a while for Namshar to push through. By the time he gets across the map, there should be a starport up and running with a Banshee, and that should be the GG moment, really. One roach already targeted down. That queen goes super low. Oh my god, that queen is actually like 1 HP, literally. It was 2 HP, and then it healed up a little bit. He's just going to try and step forward, try and get kills on the roach as he goes up the ramp. It's close. Doesn't quite happen. Across the map, the Overlord going to get picked off as well. Bunker coming up at the front too, buys a bit more time, just as you're waiting for the starport with the Banshee to come in. Again, as soon as you get that starport and the Banshee, I think Namshar probably sets himself up into a GG moment. And then we're going to game 3 more or less. But either way, even if the Banshee's not right on time, like, these roaches have to do so much damage. He's actually just going to build a siege tank right away, MarineLorD. Interesting. I would have thought, I guess the Banshee, the starport's not going to be done for a while, so just getting a siege tank rather than nothing at all. And he has got the bunker on the low ground. He's been building a bunker number 2, already pre-pulling SCVs. MarineLorD taking all of the necessary precautions to be very safe here. As we do see the, well, bunker is just going to be repaired back up here. I mean, the Ravager's still trying to press forwards. A few more corrosive bars. Bring this bunker low again. Ravagers still taking quite a bit of damage. All going to be shot down by the siege tank. Although the siege tank then corrosive bar down, he will retreat to the lower, or the better bunker in the back. Another tank on the way. I mean, that's the issue with the tanks. The Ravagers are very good against the siege tank, actually. Still trying to corrosive bar this at the front. Going to give up on this bunker here as the next bars come down. The salvage wasn't quite in time. Another siege tank though, and again, at this point, what do you do as Namshar? I like this, the tank to the high ground. There is actually no Overlord here, so no high ground vision available to kind of just siege, corrosive bar down that siege tank like you might usually try to. The barracks here actually going to block the 3rd hatchery. Just going to see this drone continue to fight this then. Orbital Command just going to drop down into the natural again. MarineLorD rocking all of the advantages right here, and Namshar going to try and stay in it as long as he can. As we are going to see this drone finally able to make the 3rd hatch. And Namshar trying to play a bit of recovery at the moment, but not looking great. As you do see those Ravagers pulling back into the natural and up towards the main. Look, Banshee on the way, Stimpack starting again. I mean, it's just a case of waiting to see MarineLorD, you know, getting into a position when he can, you know, where he can do enough damage here. So, Liberator coming down to the bottom side of the map, going to turn the corner and head across to the right now, in towards that main base. And, well, Spore Crawler going to lift up, relocate a little bit as well. Do you see that Liberator sieging up? Drone doesn't go down just yet. There's that Spore Crawler going to relocate a little bit as well. Does push that Lib away to the left-hand side. So Lib heading away there. Banshee about to finish up as well. Starport going to lift off the Tech Lab. Factory can drop down on it instead. Single Banshee again, just a good way to just be very secure here. Doesn't even invest into the cloak in the end. Cancels that. Just the one Banshee. Any sort of push from MarineLorD should end this game, really. And again, it's a very boring way to cast the game, but it's a very true way to cast the game. Like, anything that happens, there just shouldn't really be a way to defend this as Namshar. As we see the Banshee showing up, I mean, any damage you do here as the Banshee is only going to be, I don't know, additional damage done and putting your opponent down. That's nice. Cancels the Spore building over there to build it a little bit closer and to get it down a little bit faster. Tries to save the drone. Actually, in the end, loses the Spore without a cancel, though, which is painful as well. MarineLorD will see the new Spore Crawler tune. Will pick his way through this. Queen's on the way over. Remember, there's no cloak on this Banshee, and there will not be cloak at any point in the future because he cancelled it. So Banshee can't just cloak up and fight the Queens or anything. Has to pull away. It's still nice, though. Forcing Spores, killing a Spore. It's more money wasted. And here we go. Marines coming across. They're about to have a stim pack. There is nothing on the map right now. There's 4 Ravagers. They're going to get stimmed onto and killed so quickly. I mean, don't blink, guys, because you will literally miss this fight, because it is going to be quick and it's going to be deadly. We're coming across here. Banshee and a Hellion in the charge. There's the stim in with the Marines. Coming straight forwards. First Queen goes down. I mean, drones chased. More Queens in trouble. Dodges the throws of Bile. We'll have another stim in a moment to keep pushing forward. See if you'd like to. And there it is. Queen goes down. The drones are still in trouble. There's still only a few Ravagers. There is Roaches on the way up, but they're going to spawn all over the place. And, well, I mean, again, MarineLorD just playing pretty haphazardly, I guess. Just stimming straight into this Spore Crawler and so on. But why on earth not? You've got the units to... Just need to get rid of these Roaches now, and again, they're just not going to stand enough of a fight. With this many Marines in play, they're just dealing so much damage. Queen on the high ground. That one Ravager very low is being pushed around by some drones. Turn and pick that off now, lifts up. Okay, MarineLorD doesn't end the game here, but puts Namshar to a bad enough position. He will type out GG. This best of 5, tied up 1-1. Top left-hand side, our red Terran player. This is MarineLorD. Bottom right-hand side, our blue Zerg Namshar opening up into this pool first, being safe just in case MarineLorD tries some more free rack shenanigans. Overlord heading in towards the upper left-hand side. So again, no proxy racks this time around. As you do see the Reaper. But MarineLorD is on the way up here. Hatchery dropping down the natural. 6 Lings on the way through, and a Queen just about halfway done as well. So continuing through with this at the moment. You see this SCV from MarineLorD heading down to the bottom right side. And a few Lings going to run by. Going to be able to get a little bit of damage done there as the SCV just scouts in. Interesting to see what MarineLorD does now without the proxy racks opener. Does he, how does he open up with this? How does he set up or so? Coming through the top side, SCV goes down. So you see this lane taking some damage, taking some shots. Queen going to be taking a little hit as well from the Reaper Grenade, and a little bit of damage coming in. There's the fast lair from Namshar. So we've been talking a bit about Nidus networks lately in the TVZ meta, and they are definitely a very viable way to be very aggressive. So this is going to be a Nidus right here from Namshar. As he gets set up to go into game number 3, we see a Creep Timber coming down the front. Reaper coming forward is going to be able to pick off this Creep Timber. Oh my god, he doesn't actually get the shot. Loses the Reaper as well, as the third hatchery about to come down, or faking coming down. Okay, it is going to come down, but again, it's going to be something to fall back to after the Nidus more than anything else. As we're going to be seeing this lair about to finish up from Namshar, so lair going to complete. And we do see the Nidus network starting instantly, so at the moment, MarineLorD just building a Liberator, a couple Hellions, very harassment focused, but not a lot to kind of hold on back at home. The Overlord, I mean, he's covering his Bane base with vision, so he does not get caught off guard by any sort of Nidus network. You'll at least see it coming down. He can respond and bring units back home, etc. MarineLorD currently without the info, though. Okay, he maybe really needs... I guess the Liberator will be about halfway across the map, and he'll probably have to turn around. I guess there might not be any Queens left at home, though, so that might be something to keep... one reason to keep the Liberator going across. Just wonder if it's not better to bring the Liberator back here to help defend, because it almost feels like you need to have it to defend, because otherwise you're just going to have absolutely nothing. So Marine's actually going after that Overlord initially, interestingly enough. You guys want to push it away and stop it from hanging around for the next moment or so. Liberator's going to siege up right on top. Queen should pop out. For some reason the unload was very slow there, and the Queen does drop a transfuse on the Nidus. The Liberator gets quite a lot of damage done right away. The Hellions helping out as well. Another Nidus builds up over on the left side. I love the position right now. The Liberator just re-sieging on the Nidus, so anything else popping out takes damage. And this Liberator here now is going to siege up on this again. Another Liberator has finished as well, and that one looks as though it's actually going across the map. Roaches take a few more shots as the Liberator doing its job. A lot of Hellions, and the SCV pull obviously absolutely vital to keep themselves, you know, to keep the Hellions alive, so Hellions don't kill roaches fast, but over time they will get those kills. Yeah, and here's the Liberator across towards the natural. Without any queens being up, there is actually nothing to defend this Liberator, so now, you know, MarineLorD should be able to get some counter damage done. And that should go a long way, actually, if you see another couple of roaches. MarineLorD down by about 8 workers. There's that Liberator Siege. Oh, the wrong part of the natural, though, needs to go a bit further forwards there. Now you will be able to get some drones. Namshar's not paying attention back over here either. Starting to lose drones now. Has to pull away. You're going to cancel a couple of roaches that are building up on the lava, which is also a bit of frustration, less to fight with. MarineLorD only down 5 workers, but obviously does have mules. He's even building a Marauder now, getting a bunker at the front just in case any attacks come in over here. And all of these drones not currently mining. That's 9 workers. That's almost a third of Namshar's economy, doing absolutely nothing. And there's only 1 queen out, so this Liberator can reposition and continue to be annoying for quite some time. And it's actually just going to end up going up the right side, as this Liberator going to end up picking off the Overlord over on the left. In fact, you're going to lift up, go to attack lab as well, just get a siege tank up and really secure your position here, I think. I mean, there's actually a couple of Marines in the Marauder will go a long way to help out too, and the extra Marine production will only help against roaches compared to further Hellions. Again, I mean, a few SCVs pulling into this, the Liberator sieging up, it's already good damage out onto the Niders, and even if you just force, I mean, the thing is, there isn't a transfuse available, right? The Queens were so fresh and new that they're not going to have energy to transfuse. The Marauder damage is very good here as Roach after Roach getting picked away at another Nidus on the way out. Liberator in the main base gets picked off by a Queen that was left at home. Nidus also going to finish up, and actually Roaches should be able to come out of this one. Couple of Queens coming out as well. Does target that down pretty quickly, though the Liberator shots on that. Very important. SCV is pulling in once again. MarineLorD did take a worker lead, but now losing that a little bit. Has still got the Marauder up, so bonus damage against these Roaches. Siege tank trying to find a good place to siege. He doesn't want to siege next to the Nidus unload, so maybe even staying unsiege is decent for him as well, just for the damage output. I mean, single target damage of a tank is actually pretty decent. Obviously, splash damage is even better. But then the tank is very exposed, immobile. It does have a weakness, and obviously the Roaches can jump on top of it and cause a problem. As the Queen drops the transfuse on a Roach, that's pretty much going to be it, though. I mean, again, the Queens, the Roaches all cleaned out. Across the map, more damage done because the Liberator is back in play, and again, there are no Queens to respond to this. 1 Queen on the 3rd base, and the Liberator sieges the main. So drones are still barely even mining properly here, and MarineLorD still holds the worker lead, or by 1 or 2 at a time. Pretty sick as we see MarineLorD's Liberator coming through the top side of the map. Siege tank starting to build up here from MarineLorD, +1 vehicle weapons on the way out as well. More drones on the way, couple more extractors. And again, this Liberator just going to come all the way over to the right side. This one on sieges and gets ready to turn around in towards the natural, perhaps. Maybe just going to go and siege up on the main base. Also works. Couple more drones going down. Again, some good damage here as we see Marines pressing forwards. Overlord is going to get picked off here. Tanks can siege, and we are going to see another Overlord to the top, getting picked away at. More drones in the main base. Still being slaughtered, and MarineLorD just has enough right now to really close this out, I think. A couple tanks siege, this hatchery under fire. Making his way through this 3rd base, and again, the drones just in a lot of trouble. I mean, the Liberators just continue to siege up. Namshar will continue to lose these. And he's also trying to deal with this attack over here. The bars get rid of, siege tank number 1. Tank number 2 will go down as well, but only after the entire Roach Ravager army goes down. You're losing all of your workers, and MarineLorD will close out game 3 and go up 2-1 in this best of 5. This off, shall we? Cyber Forest map number 1. That wasn't right. Map number 4 of this best of 5. As to the top, bottom right-hand side, our red Terran plays and SCVs across the map again. This is MarineLorD. And to the top left, our blue Zerg is Namshar. So yes, obviously because I'm casting WSG next week, my own stream will not be live. But when I come back from WSG, we're live every day for like a month. We have so much content planned. Just notice the time for WSG group play. What the heck are those times for the Europeans? Well, I mean, it is in China. So, I mean, what do you expect if it's in China? It's not going to be the best European time. It's actually not that bad, right? So it actually starts 6 a.m. Europe time, which obviously isn't brilliant. But if you can watch through the day, it does go on for about 10 to 12 hours. So it goes 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. So it's still not brilliant. Yes, if you can only watch in the evens, definitely not great. But the finals will be on Saturday and Sunday. The semi-finals and finals, Saturday and Sunday. And they will be a bit later in the day. They won't start at 6 a.m. So as the week goes by, you'll be able to catch a bit more. But you've got to remember that the event is taking place in China. They can't just, they've got so many matches to play. They can't play matches in European evening time because that's literally the middle of the night for China. So they can't be doing that. As do you see these couple of racks finishing up here for MarineLorD, a few Marines on the way out. It's only 2 racks this time, as Namshar will scout this. Hatchery first again. But 2 racks is a little bit less committed than the 3 racks. It means that your transition will come a bit faster. Your gases will, already 1 gas up here, right? So you're going to be able to throw down the factory and so on. As we do see this SCV pressing forwards. We're going to fight against this overlord. So yes, factory will come in a lot faster. The transition will be a lot faster. That means Namshar cannot really afford to go into roaches to defend this. Really can just, needs to defend this with lings and queens. Roaches just usually take too long. It means you lose the natural. You can't really afford to lose the natural against 2 racks. Am I going to be streaming WSG on this channel? No. I am going to be casting the WSG stream. I'm going to be casting with Rotty, Loco, and Rapid. So that's going to be happening on the WSG stream. That's why I'm not going to be live on my own channel until after WSG, after today. So I'm being gone for a week on my own channel, but obviously I'll be casting on the WSG stream, etc, etc, etc. As we are just watching lings and drones currently overrunning Marines. Bunker comes up, but I don't actually know what you do for the best here at the moment. These Marines are actually going to start winning out this fight. I think MarineLorD didn't know what to do either. He's like, well, actually, do I put this Marine in the bunker? Or do I fight against the drones, which are super low HP, because I am finishing off the Zerglings. Salvage doesn't come down in time. Well, MarineLorD is going to hang back a little bit, kills another Ling, continues to build up Marines. The factory will begin. Obviously, it's not pretty for MarineLorD, but Namshar was down in workers for a little bit here, had a lot of lost mining time. So this is kind of the point at which already Namshar is kind of, well, feeling as though Namshar is kind of in a reasonable spot. We see an Overlord dropping down on this main base as well. There's barracks from MarineLorD coming out into the center of the map, heading back home. Yeah, a second spine crawler too. Namshar's afraid of a follow-up, so if he commits to a second spine, that's expensive, because not only is it 1 more drone dead, it's 100 minerals, which could be 2 more drones. MarineLorD's expansion starts up, and the factory will start a reactor, actually. Starport then starts, so reactor is going to be for Hellions. We could maybe turn this into Hellion Banshee from this point. MarineLorD's expansion being late is the biggest downside to this at the moment. You can see that big income lead that he has here from the drone pull, and the fact he took a couple worker lead. So we've seen those Marines continuing down to the bottom right-hand side. As we are going to be seeing the command center going to be finishing shortly. Starport finishing up the factory. A couple of Hellions going to be on the on the way out. Yeah, sorry, I was a bit confused as to why Naruto was typing my stream channel into the chat. I'm a little bit intrigued as we do see the third hatchery drop, third barracks, sorry, dropping down over here, blocking the third hatchery. Not the third barracks at all. God damn, I was right the first time. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, you're going to see this barracks in a little bit of trouble then. Namshar did not commit to the second spine crawler. That's very good for him, as he does actually take the third hatch to the right side instead. Again, like, that second spine crawler really is just money you can't really afford to actually have invested the way he did. It's, if there was another attack coming, sure, but the fact that MarineLorD was just building up, definitely not going to work out. This idea as well, the Hellion drop to the main is a good way of potentially finding some extra damage here now. And that's definitely what you kind of want to be doing at this stage as MarineLorD, just trying to shut down a few more drones or so. So 4 Hellions up to the top side. Armory on the way as well. It's going to turn this into a bit of a Hellbat attack eventually as well. Are the Marines going to load up with this attack and go across with a couple of Hellions? Yes, they are. Some Marines going across. Ling's in the middle. But now they're going to start pulling back home. Evo Chamber block. Oh, but now the Hellions come down this other side, and these drones are just completely exposed. 4 workers already dead. 1 drone blocking the pathway there to buy some time. Oh, this is bad, because this is 8 workers dead, and the Hellions are all still alive. Should have lifted up the last one, too. That was a bit of a mistake. Just wants to get out away from the Queens in plenty of time as well, though. Meanwhile, this medevac out in the center hasn't found a chance to do much, but 8 workers. It's a big pickoff from MarineLorD. Namshar rebuilds 8 right away. But that means if he's rebuilding workers, he's not making units to potentially defend this follow-up attack. And this is Hellbats, remember, as well. There's going to be Hellbats pushing in too. It's a bit of a funky build from MarineLorD. Hellbats morph. Now Namshar sees it. He does have a Baneling nest to morph Banelings in with. So he can, I mean, he needs those Banelings. 7 morph in instantly. It's good for MarineLorD though, because it's already applying pressure. It's forcing gas to be spent on Banes rather than teching up in towards the lair, etc. And he's got the lair, but, you know, he doesn't get any lair tech out just yet because of what's going on here. MarineLorD decides to attack up in towards the Spinecrawler here. One Marine already soaks up a Baneling shot. That's really good. The Spinecrawler dead. 2 Hellions at the back are going to morph in, trying to force the Banes to go off on them. And, well, honestly, the Marine split is pretty good to clean up the Banelings, and now there's still Hellbats overrunning the natural. They get clumped up. The Zerglings on their own are not going to clean this out, and the fact they're on top of drones is really devastating here, because drones obviously going down once again, and Namshar is losing out on the work count. MarineLorD is looking very good to make it through to the finals of the Katowice Afterparty. The Baneling is still just morphing in over here. We're going to see a couple more Queens getting picked away at that Bane. Going to be finishing soon as 7 drones down. All of these Hellbats cleaned up. This is very good for MarineLorD though. You can see 2,900 to 2,100 resources lost. So Namshar is really trading badly. And MarineLorD is equal on workers, plus the fact he's got double mule means he's actually on an income lead. And Namshar obviously had to build a lot of units to be able to deal with this attack, and that obviously hurts as well. He's going to go into melee upgrades, but MarineLorD is playing mech. Now, melee upgrades don't really help too much against mech. So you used to see kind of Lingbane Hydra or Swarm Host Lingbane Hydra used to be okay against mech, but nowadays it really has turned back in towards kind of Roach Stars. Nice pull away with that Hellion. Sacrifices that one Hellion into the Banes. Oh my god, the drones are still stacked up. The Queens are going to be able to do enough, but it is still 5 more workers killed. And Hellions staying alive remain a threat on the map. A Liberator to harass the Natural. Well, there's a Spore Crawler here, but you can siege up in this direction. Put the Liberator here, siege the Natural. And you're still going to get a couple of drones, or at least lost mining time, right? And, oh my god, those drones keep playing with death. Queen takes a couple of shots. Drones do go into range. More drones going down. Hellions on the right side getting damage as well. Liberator in the main base, picking off all the drones in this little corner. Namshar probably distracted. Finally gets the Spore Crawler relocating. It's just drones dropping all over. A counter-attack of Zerglings will not do a lot, as we see the Hellbats just kiting away nicely, minimizing the damage they take, maximizing the lings they clean up. And really, at this point, it's not looking good at all. As you see, Namshar is really in trouble. Again, that work count is tough. 65 drones and 62 SCVs is not really enough. And going up against mech as well, especially the style that MarineLorD's going to play. Hellion Cyclone is going to be so good at just trading and trading and trading. And I love the fact he's adding on more Liberators. Going to use those to keep harassing, keep being annoying, keep pulling Namshar out of position, while the Hellion Cyclone does a lot of damage elsewhere on the map. Why were the Queens over here? They're just over here because they were chasing down Hellions, and they obviously forgot to pull them back a little bit, so don't think he was trying to set up a snipe on a Liberator or anything. Pretty sure he's just chasing Hellions, and he was meant to put down creep tumors, and then he didn't. Infestation Pit about halfway done here from Namshar. As the first 2 Cyclones are out, so Hellions and Cyclones will start to press forwards. First Roach is coming through. Namshar responding now to the mech style. He's just going to throw down a Nidus network, so he's just going to try and force a straight-up fight. Now, that's the thing. That is the weakness of Cyclones in a straight-up fight. They're not great if they're backed into a corner and can't kite away. This army composition doesn't do that well for MarineLorD, so the Nidus is maybe a good way of making that happen, rather than these fights here where you just move forward, you lock on, and then you just kite away. And, you know, at most you're losing a couple of Hellions. If you lose the Cyclone here, this is a bit messy from MarineLorD. Almost like he just kind of wants to sit around anyways because he's trading well enough because of the number difference. There we go, the Liberator sieging up in a couple different positions. It's natural and main base drones that are going to have to respond to this, and well, already a few workers picked off, and it's just delaying the Nidus network as well because Namshar's busy dealing with this rather than setting that Nidus up. The Cyclone's still pressing forwards, a couple of Queens taking some damage. MarineLorD going to go around to the right-hand side. Again, just those couple of Liberators sat out the front. 9 Swarm Hosts on the way in from Namshar. The scan can definitely clean up a bit more of this creep spread. So a little bit of creep getting taken down here. Ravager has to pull back a little bit. Roaches, I mean, coming in, but again, the mag kill accelerator is done, so the Cyclone lock-on does so much at this point for MarineLorD. Namshar does have a Nidus Worm up, and it is just going to come across the map. He's going to use the Swarm Host here to try and get himself back into this. Swarm Host Nidus, fairly effective way. Oh, well, I don't like that. This feels like the worst possible place this Locust could have dropped into. We are just going to see this Nidus gets picked off, and those Locusts do absolutely nothing to begin with, so... yeah, that wasn't exactly... I thought the Nidus were the Locust were going to jump into the natural, which was probably the plan. Didn't quite happen. But just keep MarineLorD pinned back a little bit. It keeps MarineLorD busy rather than just consistently being able to force attacks in the center and kite away, so I like the idea of it. Just gotta remember, MarineLorD was in a good position early in the game, and that really sets him up to kind of continue very strongly as well as he pushes forwards here. He is actually just going to take a straight up fight against these Roaches a little bit. Liberators sieging up, not enough Ravagers to fight against those Liberators. And so the Roaches take a lot of damage. MarineLorD still pressing through. The Swarm Hosts are about to drop Locusts in towards the third base here. The thing is, this Orbital can actually just lift up. SCVs can pull away. And so you're only really losing a couple of supply depots. These Liberators set up over here. This would be nice, but he actually just scans and gets rid of creep spread. And back down the left-hand side. Cyclones coming over. Going to see this Nidus network getting picked up as well. There's Locusts starting to pick their way through the Orbital command. Actually, this Orbital not getting lifted up, not being responded to. The Locusts going to find a kill. Well, MarineLorD has another Orbital he can fly over into position at least, but does slow down a bit of attack. Lovely unit movement there. Blocks the Swarm Host from being able to run into that Nidus. Nidus building on the bottom left-hand side. Ravagers running into this base, and Namshar is pulling himself way back into this game with this Nidus style. Very frustrating for MarineLorD to deal with, and it's actually costing MarineLorD a lot to be able to make this work at the moment. And is it even working? I don't know. Namshar does lose a couple of Swarm Hosts here. The Cyclones getting locked onto them there is a big deal. On the top side, Liberators are already sieged up in case anything pops out of this Nidus network, so needs to be careful not to actually get anything out there. Fourth base back in position on that right-hand side. Aliens and Cyclones a bit more comfortable cleaning up on the left now. MarineLorD being kept at 55 workers though, and so Namshar able to keep the eco lead. Resources lost dead even. The economy lead then. Namshar should be looking pretty good, and MarineLorD really struggling to stabilize after a stronger early game. Aliens and Cyclones up the left side, and well, we'll be able to harass around a little bit here. Roaches a little bit late to come back. It's a lot of Cyclones. Swarm Host actually being brought back defensively. Scan obviously gives him that information. Good use of the Nidus. I love the Nidus positioning too, right in the center here between the bases. Really gives you the opportunity to bring those Locusts or Swarm Hosts back defensively and then respond anywhere. To the left, to the right, to the natural, right? And you just go wherever they need. Locusts dropping down. Roaches running in on the left-hand side as well. Coming straight through. SCV's taking some damage. Oh my god, though, the Swarm Hosts are all caught. Namshar loses every single one of his Swarm Hosts. Cyclone's going to have to pull away here as MarineLorD has a huge victory. Suddenly it's just Roach Ravager, and that makes a big difference. It only being Roach Ravager, suddenly MarineLorD is maybe a bit more back on track. You're going to see Namshar attempting to go up in toward Broodlords. Tell you what, I'd love to see a fusion core for MarineLorD. He continues to build these Liberators. Some Liberator range would only help out even further as another couple final Swarm Hosts found on this top side. So full cleanup on the Swarm Host. Now it's only Roach Ravager against Cyclone Hellion. Well, this is definitely a much better position than it's been for a little while for MarineLorD. As Ravagers begin to morph in. Cyclone's locking on. The Liberators not sieging up yet. They're probably afraid. I mean, that's the thing as well. Explosive Bows are very good against the Liberators, but if you build up Liberator range, you're able to keep them out of range a little bit more easily. Right now, the Roach Ravager might just be a bit too much. The Cyclones are picking their way through this army, but very slowly it feels like. I mean, it always feels slow when this army, when your base is under attack. Liberator gets picked off. The Cyclones slowly dealing the damage, but the Corruptor's on the way, and I think the Greater Spy is here, so Broodlords are going to be a thing, and I think Namshar is going to take this to a 5th game. Man, lost all of the Swarm Host, didn't matter well with the Swarm Host play. Roaches, Ravagers coming around into the center. Ling's coming through the center. Nidus dropping down over to the left-hand side. And Cyclones continue to set up. This Liberator Siege. When you start running forwards pretty quickly here, a couple of bars don't really connect. MarineLorD's just... I mean, there's a new wave of Swarm Hosts as well after he killed off all the Swarm Hosts before, all 12 of them. New ones are just made, and again, Namshar just has the money to keep doing whatever he wants. He's denying these bases with attack after attack. GG, Namshar ties it up 2-2 after MarineLorD into Namshar. MarineLorD game number 1. Game number 5. Why do I keep saying it's game number 1? It's because there's still 0-0s on the screen. My brain's just not working very quickly today, apparently. Aye, aye, aye. Okay. A couple questions about how Nidus works, so just quickly cover it. Nidus network, if you have units inside of it, they will stay inside the Nidus. So the units are essentially in the Nidus, and as long as they have somewhere they can leave, the units will never die. The problem is if the Nidus if the Nidus exit and entrance get killed, then and the units are still inside, then there's no way they can get out, right? So that's when they die and they disappear. But otherwise they just stay in the Nidus, right? The Nidus is all connected, and they can pop out of any Nidus at any time as well once they're inside of it, which is what's so powerful about having multiple exits at the minute. And this unload and reload speed, you can jump in and out so quickly, so easily. Top left-hand side, Namshar. Bottom right-hand side, MarineLorD. King's Cove, a fairly large map for our 5th game of the series. Again, GunGFuBanDa lies in wait in the grand finals here today. What are we in? We're 3 hours into the stream, so not doing too badly in terms of progress so far. We do just have the Overlord moving around at the moment, having a little bit of a look to see what's going on. And we do see the Reaper is on the way up from MarineLorD in the main base. Command Center dropping down from MarineLorD in the natural. And the SCV from MarineLorD coming over to scout around a little bit, try and see what's going on. What's happening in the world of Zerg today? Not a lot, just Hatchery finishing up. If you guys enjoyed the stream, don't forget to drop the follow on the channel. We're approaching 39 and then soon 40,000 followers, which is awesome to see. And if you're really enjoying as well, again, Twitch Prime subs, subscribers in general help us a lot with kind of supporting the tournaments and running more of these in the future. This was a bit of a pop-up tournament, so I actually just put my own kind of money that I don't usually put aside for tournaments into this one. So we are taking donations to help recoup the prize pool of this tournament. So if you want to help out with that, that's what donations are going to. Otherwise, though, going into this and just seeing the Reaper harassing, getting this rolling. As the Reaper gets pushed away to the side from the Queen. And a few Zerglings from Namshar pushing forwards as well. And as you do see the 3rd hatchery dropping on the left-hand side. Zergling speed on the way from Namshar as well. As we do see the Starporter is about to come up here, so Starport going to be finishing shortly. So Parabytes coming in with the 4-month resub in the chat. Says, hey, what do you do? Keep up the good content. As you see the Starport just about to finish up. Thank you so much, Parabytes, for the resub, the kind words. Appreciate it, dude. Good to see you back for 4 months. There's the couple of Hellions. Just heading over the left-hand side, we do see that hatchery finishing up. It's a bit of a different third base that Namshar's taking here. Taking that base down the left side rather than up at the top, so there's a little bit of a switch up from what you'd usually expect to see. Hellions will deny one Creep Tumor, at least here at the front. Power of the fact that this Creep Tumor is just expanding though means you can cancel and respread it instantly. Honestly, this is the one thing that, if there's like generally one balance change I would like to see made, or one thing change, I really think that should be punished more. Like, if you cancel the Creep Tumor, sure, let it survive, but the fact it can respread instantly, I think you should have a cooldown, right? Like, you know, otherwise, like, it feels like you've denied it for, like, literally 4 seconds by killing a Creep Tumor. It's silly. Hellions are going to dive by, but Lings are going to greet them, so MarineLorD's decision is not going to be rewarded with any sort of success, and those Hellions are going to end up falling. So 4 Hellions go down pretty quickly, as we see the Banshee about to pop up in the main base. First Banshee was actually seen by that Overlord as the factory moving away to build another reactor, so that's just setting up for the bio follow-up, I'd imagine. Barracks builds here, barracks builds next to the factory, going towards the extra marine production very quickly, and of course that is supported by the fact that Stimpack is already on the way out as well. So Banshee coming up to the top side, as you do see the couple of Zerglings from Namshar getting ready to poke around at the front perhaps. It's a fairly quick lair. It's not a Nidus level of lair tech. We see upgrades going to be coming through, but it's going to be a pretty quick tech choice nonetheless from Namshar. Options really going to be between the between the Spire and the Hydralisk Den. The Spire gives you that Mutalisk force, a little bit more harassment heavy. The Hydralisk kind of plays well on King's Cove though. A lot of ways to attack, a lot of ways to flank, a lot of mobility for a large map as well, while still having a strong ground force, while taking all of your bases and moving up into the later stages of the game. So there you go. Hydro Den coming down. Spire again, it can work, but there's just better maps to play Spire on. And I think the Hydras just do really work on this map so well because of the reasons I stated. Bacon Hero with the 8-month resub on a row as well says people dislike Nidus because people don't like worms. Feels bad, man. Turn it back into a canal blizzard. Ace Fork, everyone likes canals. Why don't we just make it a Nidus? I don't know. Why don't Zerg just learn to teleport instead? Oh wait, that's what Protoss do. 4 drone kills from the first 2 Banshees here to the side. Good little bit of harassment so far. Orbital Command on the way up on the natural. A couple of Hellions hanging out to the left, and Ling is pretty quick to jump in towards these. More and more drones on the way up. Musket Augments coming in, +1 Carapace on the way. And again, there's a couple of Hellions from MarineLorD just being chased down to the bottom right-hand side. A few Zerglings starting to push up, and we do see the couple of depots going to be standing strong right there. +1 melee and Carapace coming in from Namshar. The Bane speed coming through. Musket Augments, all this Ling Bane Hydra setup like we were talking about. As we do just see the combat shields coming in with the rest of this here from MarineLorD. Marines and Medevacs going to move out onto the map. Armory coming down in the main base as well, so just getting us set to go. More Zerglings from Namshar setting up too. Banelings morphing in, a few more. All of this just getting set basically as the Spore Crawler drops down from Namshar in the natural expansion. Marines pressing forwards already. More creep tumors being cleaned out as well. So a lot of creep spread cleaned up so far, and we do have still this army just wanting to push that. Yeah, and the creep coming down the left side, it's not usually an avenue we see really focused on by Zerg players, but because Namshar has the third base here, it does make it more awkward for MarineLorD to attack. Instead of going natural third base fourth, and MarineLorD able to attack just up to the center of the map, it kind of forces MarineLorD to focus on the left, which really exposes MarineLorD to run-bys and attacks on the right side of the map in general. So it does create a very interesting expansion pattern in that regard, and maybe opens up some more opportunities for the Zerg as the game goes by. 2 of these Banshees back in towards the natural third base, or fourth base I guess. So used to this just being the third. A couple more drones going down so far. Banshee harassment is good to continue as the Marines still just poised to jump in at a moment's notice as well. This is really nice. Oh my god, those drones are just transferring into their death. 9 workers down suddenly. And those Banshees still just poised to pick up more if the opportunity arises. Stops to scan. The Hydras up to the top side there though, so it's not going to be too much creep cleaned out. We'll get a couple of Hydralisks. This is one of the Medevacs, unfortunately, in the end. A little bit of a trade back for the Hydras going down. Not bad for MarineLorD, though. Good pressure, good damage. Namshar feeling safe to go up into the hive. As it goes up into that hive, we do see... Now, obviously, the rest of the tech choice has been opened up. Bane Hydra generally will hit Ultras and a couple of Vipers initially, and then move forwards from there and slowly moving towards a Greater Spire and Brute Lords. There's some empty Medevacs that are going on a bit of a journey. They do turn around, realizing, yep, that's not going to be so great. Zerglings and Namshar hanging out. Going to see Queen's taking a little bit of damage there as well. Banshee going to get turned around. On the top side, this Medevac turned around as well. Hive on the way up in the main base. Still a lot of Zerglings from Namshar hanging out over to the right side. ready to dive in on one of these bases in the very near future. A lot of bio from MarineLorD stims over here as well, and he's going to be stimming forwards. He's going to pick off a whole bunch of these creep tumors again. But the thing is, he's only cleaning out the external parts of the creep. He still isn't getting close enough to the bases to actually do anything. More and more creep expanding around the map. Links that over on the right-hand side. These couple medevacs from MarineLorD up in that direction as well. Another couple of Zerglings getting picked off. These Banes and Hydras wanting to come back down. And we do see that Spire just about halfway done. A couple more Banes of Namshar. Still not quite able to get in there. Just going to stim forwards again. Marines still not able to do too much though. Having to pull back for the most part. Another Baneling or two getting picked off. On the top side, Marines going to stim forwards as well. A lot of Zerglings going down. Another Zerglings going down. Creep tumors as well. Another couple of scan. Well, another scan. A couple of creep tumors being picked off too. A lot of Overlords going down here. Now the medevac's going to lift up and ends up backing away through the top side of the map. So MarineLorD escaping out over through the top. MarineLorD also pushing up the left. There's still a lot of Banes here. I mean, the multi-prom is definitely the way to go about this, and you can see that with the amount of creep he's got, the passivity that he's playing with, he's going to play for the later game. Extra starports starting in production. We're going to be seeing some ghosts added in as well as the Widowmine drop now coming across. So that's a lot of his units set up in medevacs around the map at the moment, so still poised to attack with these. See Marines continue to press forward. So Widowmine gets picked off as well, but actually I feel like MarineLorD has a pretty good push going here, so he's actually going to keep pressing forwards. Again, he's teching up quite heavily behind. There's a huge drop in the main. These full 3 medevacs are going to cause somewhat of a response from Namshar. A lot of Lings on the way up there. They're taking a little while to move the Banelings in, so these Marines are going to trade very well. Now he's going to lift up, drop down to the low ground, and Namshar being kept kind of dancing around. Tanks pressing forwards up this side. Drones going down on this third base, and MarineLorD trying to make this a TVP finals if he can close this game out. Pressing forwards up the left, and finally this base feels truly exposed, I think, for the first time. He's been pushed away through the creep spread. He's got a good tank line to fall back to as well. Medevacs will load up, and the tanks will have to come into play here. Widowmine hit is huge on the Banes and Lings. It's actually an incredible Widowmine connection. As the last few Marines will be cleaned up by Banes. 15 drones have gone down, though. I mean, look at this play in the main. Greater Spire going to get picked off. That'd be huge. I think MarineLorD pulls back, fights against the Lings instead. Oh my god, he's killing so many Zerglings. Namshar is bleeding out so many units. These drops are huge from MarineLorD. Resources lost 10,000 to 7.7k. Obviously, Namshar has not had an opportunity to set up into Broodlords yet. Still feel as though I would have liked to see that Greater Spire being targeted, because I feel like, yes, the kill on the Lings was very efficient, but the Greater Spire provides issues for you in terms of dealing with the future. 9 more drones dropping down. Medevac's back in on this right side. There's only one Baneling here. Is targetable, perhaps. The Marine's already low, though. Has to be careful. MarineLorD just going to lift up and leave instead. Has his own 5th base about to finish. I mean, in fairness, I guess the Broodlords aren't that scary when you do have multiple starports and ghosts on the way. MarineLord's confident in his late game situation now, so isn't going to be too scared. Bio still gathering on the bottom side. Lingbane Hydra to the left. More Corruptors gathering together. 5 more Broods on the way out. And 3 upgrades have now finished. So the Broodlords are all going to come into play. MarineLorD still has a Widowmine drop set up here. And the Widowmines burrow very quickly with Drilling Claws. Got another 11 workers just picked off there. It's a lot of damage, man. Like, it really adds up over time as well. Cleaning out the creep in the middle. The fact that Namshar has to go and, fall all the way back home to deal with this. And then MarineLorD just takes that as an opportunity to clean up some of that creep spread. Queens are going to struggle to replace that because it was so far forwards. Although being so far forwards means he still has pretty good creep in this direction, so it's not the end of the world either. 5 libs on the way up. I wonder if MarineLorD just feels as though Namshar can't possibly have Broodlords after the pressure he put on, despite seeing the Greater Spire. Not quite the case, as MarineLorD will stim forward with the entire army. Sieging up some liberators to begin with the scan there, picking off the creep tumors. See the Corruptors. The Broods starting to fly in as well. The tank fire starting up. The Bio for the moment able to out-damage the Broodlings here. As we're going to see, that's a couple of very deadly Widowmines going off. MarineLorD backs away, starts up some Vikings. There's Ghosts coming in as well. Extra Ghost Academy, so we're going to be seeing nukes able to come on through here in the near future as well. So our nukes abound. We'll see a few more broods coming up. The infestors as well, +1 missiles. Also about to complete. So many more Broodlords from Namshar. The thing is, if this Broodlord army goes down, he's so all in on this almost because he's making so many of them. And he is making not that many Corruptors either. I guess a few Infestors will help support. But you need some Corruptors to fight this air army because the air army is pretty serious from MarineLorD too. See how a decent number of Vikings. The Liberator Splash does go a long way a lot of the time as well. There's no reason to siege up all of these Liberators when there's so much in the skies and so little on the ground in comparison. They have that range. They can really siege from so far away as well. Pusher can maybe even, if he just pushes the Queens back and the Infestors, keep those out of the equation. Stop transfusions from coming into play. You see those libs already very powerful what they're doing here. And it does give MarineLorD the chance to start pressing further forwards. Nukes are coming through. He's going to unsiege him back away. He's got a 6 base ready to move. He'll take the right-hand side now maybe, or the forward base. It'll be a bit tougher to hold the forward base. If Broodlords come in on this side, they can hit the mineral line. It's actually, I don't know which base is better to take. Probably is just the right one, because Namshar has no focus on the right side of the map anyways. So while MarineLorD isn't exactly pushing the right side himself, Namshar has no reason to be attacking over there. So I think that right side base would go pretty well. Just going to see the Liberators getting a couple of shots off here. Vessels are setting up potentially for some fungal growth. That's the scary part of this now. Fungal growths and the Broodlords, all these units combined can be very scary. Drop over here, we'll look to hit this new expansion on the way from Namshar, who is just on 5 bases. So both players trying to take a 6th base, and MarineLorD in the end will actually just scan for some creep, or maybe not. He's going to end up pulling some units up here to deal with this, but this definitely wasn't pretty. Definitely could have done a lot more. Unloading on creep. Couple of mistakes, then was inactive. A lot of mistakes there. We'll see the bio loading up again. Vikings, Ghosts. Going to the right side, one Ghost will cloak up and start heading across to the upper left-hand side. Command center dropping down as MarineLorD will continue to establish control on the right side of the map. And looks like he'll start pushing this side too. Push through here and deny their space, and you might just be looking to try and limit Namshar to 5 bases. But then Namshar can expand bottom left, perhaps. But then MarineLorD has this base here to maybe push forwards from if the bottom left expansion becomes a thing. Namshar going to have to start dealing with nukes here very soon. The first one's going to line up on this base. Oh my god, there's so much lava here. The bio presses in through the top. Hatchery taking some damage. Ghost is going to be found as the medevac kind of leads the rest of the army to the Ghost. So the Ghost thought he was doing a good job. He was. It's a bit of a mistake there. There's actually loads of lava on all the bases. Namshar not going to be lava starved during this game. It's definitely not a concern. Sorry from MarineLorD just pulls back a little bit. Top right base gets set up as well. Have a couple of command centers just dropping into play. We are going to be seeing the Corruptors, Balings, Infestors, and Broods all gathering in the middle of the map. Pressing forwards here, the Infestors actually taking a little bit of a lead. Bio pulls back down around the bottom right side. Command center going to drop down a bit more towards the center. Again, pressing through, a Baneling getting picked off. To the right side, Vikings and a couple of libs. Coming over here as well. The turret will go down. And again, the Bio forces picking their way through the Broodlings pretty quickly. Broodlings pressing forwards, Corruptors as well. A couple of missile turrets going down, plenty Fortress. And some trouble. Sets up a very defensive nuke here. To the top side, a Liberator comes across to harass. Widow Mine's going to run on through. Straight into Spines and a Spore though, so unfortunately that Widow Mine will be picked off. Feels like all attempts at harassment at the moment aren't going so well. I mean, this Liberator finds a Queen, but that's about all. Namshar's army is pushed forwards very aggressively. 14 Broodlords on the front doorstep at the moment. A little bit of bio, runs up to the top. Liberators start sieging. And this defensive position becomes very important. There's quite a lot of bio actually up to the top side. Some Bane Hydra on the way over. Will this base go down in time? And it's fighting a few of the Zerglings, so probably not. Flames start crashing in. This will be cleaned out. Vikings try and take the fight. Good fungal growth catches a few of them initially. EMP hits some of the infestors though. Well, if you hit those EMPs, that's going to become a problem. Next fungal growth does land though. Spore Crawlers very good as well. A lot of ghosts going down as this army of Namshar pushes forwards, and I feel like Namshar actually winning this fight very comfortably at the moment. But we're still pressing through. The Corruptors need to come in here now as well. Does not have the texture to take down that ghost, which is currently nuking this army. So Namshar will have to pull away. The Vikings have to be careful too. Cancels the nuke, realizing it's not going to go well for them. The planting fortress in the front is taken down. Reload with some heavy losses here, as we are going to be seeing Corruptors and Broodlords still pressing down to the bottom side. A couple of Widow Mines connecting. Again, top right planetary fortress. And it is a base MarineLorD has. He has money in the bank, but rebuilding isn't easy when the Zerg is sat on your front doorstep applying pressure. Why do you cancel the nuke? Just so you don't take any damage on your own units. It means Vikings and this ghost was pretty near it as well. Just save, rather safe than sorry. You don't get anything back from it also. A couple of Liberators just firing away, a couple of bits and pieces coming down here. Snipes lining up on the Corruptors, but then the Broodlords are still in just such crazy, ridiculous numbers as well. Huge fungal growth as the Vikings are clumped up, and that spellcast was a big game changer here. The Ghosts are still dropping their snipes, but now the Broodlings are just going to overrun because there's nothing to really stop the Broodlords. Some Bane still kept in the back as well. This series started off quick and aggressive with some proxy 3 racks, proxy 2 racks, but it really turned into something a bit more substantial as the game went by. Again, the winner of this series plays GunGFuBanDa in the finals, a Protoss player waiting to either play a PvZ or PvT. Not sure if he has a preference in which he plays, maybe PvT. You see Manson in the front, going to take some damage. Senstar gets taken down. Vikings pressing through here right away. Already a Corruptor taking some damage. The Broodlings continue to do quite a lot here. SCVs trying to come down. Another nuke coming down as well. I'm just actually starting to mine out of some of these bases. Those drones might actually be in trouble. Okay, he sees it last minute. I'm always impressed with these guys able to see the nukes. If I was getting nuked, I would never know where I'm looking at. I'd always be in the wrong place, and I'd respond to it terribly. Broodlings dropping down, and that series dropping in. Zerglings coming over. Going to be able to pick off this siege tank. Well, the Bane's going to come over here. Looks like they're just going to give themselves up to deny this base, but it does not actually go down. Miscalculation by Namshar. Well, that's a lot. Okay, because he had a couple more Banes that didn't go off. Okay, well, that's nice from MarineLorD. 17 SCVs lost, yes, but the base will survive. The base will survive. A couple more Liberators on the way up. More Ghosts coming through as well. This bio attack on this topside base has happened a few different times. I think at this point, he is actually going to be able to get the kill. Zergling's not going to be able to stop it. He's going to go for a few of the drones initially as well. Any hits he can make to Namshar's economy. And this game's still ongoing. This is still a thing right here as we see Marauders get shut down by Broodlords. I mean, the Viking count and the Ghost count is still up there. MarineLorD is still mining from bases in the top right side. A lot of drones killed off with this attack from MarineLorD now. Getting quite a lot done. Ghost coming over to the right. You do see the Corruptors starting a caustic spray down on the planetary fortress, so planetary will take quite some damage. Actually, probably will drop here. Archery goes down, and well, now Vikings and Libs pushing to the top side. It's a huge late game army. There's not a lot to really defend kind of larger ground forces, but against a few Lings, the Ghost definitely will work out. And right now, MarineLorD picks off a bunch of Corruptors. Namshar's taken some bad trades recently. The Broodlords are completely out of position down in the bottom left. His last couple of fights definitely going MarineLorD's way, and resources lost is just a little bit favorable for Namshar. That income has been MarineLorD's favor for a while. You guys haven't really looked at the drone count, so MarineLorD, as both players expend their banks, a lot of gas remaining but not enough minerals. These new bases are actually very important because actually right now Namshar only has the bottom left base mining for minerals, soon to be this top one as well, and this one here maybe. Although, will that be allowed to come up? If this base comes up here from MarineLorD, there's going to be a real contest. Now, the Broodlords are back. That's going to be a very important part of this as well, as the Liberator's sieged up, picking away a few changelings. Queens coming forwards with this. Infestors have their fungal growths ready. It's these spellcasting armies which have definitely caused more issue. I love it though. MarineLorD attacks bottom left while this happens. So pushing in here already, and some units already pushing the spine. Here come the Broodlords coming in. Needs to dodge away from the fungal, but the fungal lands and it's probably going to chain up on those Vikings. Vikings taking huge amounts of damage at the moment. There's so many of them here as well. When these Vikings drop, the supply is going to disappear from MarineLorD, but actually runs out of fungals, hits an EMP, and now there's actually only a couple of Corruptors, one Hydra on the ground as well. There's not a lot of anti-air anymore. Snipe's still coming down, Ghosts are chasing forwards, and Namshar has no money to rebuild, so these Broodlords are getting picked away at. MarineLorD's ground army showed up in the center of the map too, picks up this base as well. Vikings still kiting away against those Corruptors now. Another couple Corruptors going down. I mean, the bio relocates back around to the top right-hand side. MarineLorD takes a supply lead, and again, he's denied the bases, so Namshar has no mining. Namshar has basically no income, and look at the difference as he takes a lot of mining for himself. Does lose the top base, but is going to be able to re-expand there. His next command center already set to go. Wow. The fungal growth on those Vikings was crazy. But it wasn't enough. He lost out. The last couple of fungals just weren't there. The EMPs helping to reduce the number of fungals available. That was really important. And as we're going to be seeing, MarineLorD will establish himself on the bottom side of the map as well. The more mining he gets set up on this side of the map, the better this is going to be for him. Planning Fortress is going to finish just about in time to help defend this attack, but I'm not sure if it will be able to hold on. Goes in for some repairs. Failing's rolling in. I mean, it's still Banes that are being thrown onto a Planning Fortress. I mean, MarineLorD has so many bases. This base coming up as well. You can maybe just send this command center down here anyways. Still quite a few Hydras to go down, as we do see MarineLorD also having this base to the top, and Namshar still doesn't really have the money to make this work. With the Cryptium dropping down, we see quite a lot of army from MarineLorD responding to the bottom left, a little bit of bio coming around in that direction. Corrupt just going to try and cause a spray down the planetary. Doesn't mean they're not in the fight to fight against the Vikings initially. Big fungal. MarineLorD not hitting any EMPs, so fungals continue to come in prominently infestors, but that's pretty much it. That's the last fungal growth. Now it's Queens versus Vikings. Okay, more Corruptors coming through as well. Snipes lining up from the Ghost here, hitting some of the Queens. Extra Vikings showing up as well. Some infested Terrans to help support. The Broodlords being chased down. This time the Broodlords are going to drop pretty quick, but the infested Terrans are going to turn away a couple of the Vikings now. Vikings push back once again. 4 more infestors on the way out. Ling's running down to the bottom side. Command center has to lift up. More bio from MarineLorD. Coming across too. Lings of Namshar coming forwards. Going to get us around. Marines and Marauders continue to drop. Another Hydra picked off here. Ling's still running in. And you're just going to see again more damage being done as Namshar cleans all of this up. Command center being pushed away through the bottom side. Again, a couple of Marauders from MarineLorD pressing forwards as well. Vikings and Ghosts up the right. Medevacs and Libs hanging out as well. A few more Widow Mines continue to come in too. All looking to land in the center, and that's command center from MarineLorD. Ready to move out once more. 30-minute game number 5 here. Has drawn this series out. As GunGFuBanDa is laying in wait, waiting to see who he's going to be playing against. Snipe will hit the Infestor. Gets a fungal growth off though. I mean, those are units which Namshar is really going to struggle to rebuild. He's got 1 base of mining. I guess this base as well, long distancing at the moment. More SCVs on the way out. Some MarineLorD just keeping his economy strong as he loses a little bit to this run by. Fire units in general are able to push this away. Even some Widow Mines there to help out. As he's still just keeping the Broodlords and the tech units up on the top side, and because of that, the rest of his army is able to hit the bottom side of the map. So making a pretty decent job out of this. A couple of drones have dropped down. Ghosts wanting to press forwards here, try and get some damage done as well. Will continue to drop, and we are going to be seeing those Vikings hanging out up in the skies. Plants the bomb a little bit by, running away. Wouldn't mind. Gets picked off as well. Never wouldn't mind pressing forwards. MarineLorD will just burrow up here. She gets picked off pretty quickly. Still, there's a little bit of a fight down from this base. MarineLorD pulls away, splits away, trying to minimize the effect of the banelings. This kind of mid-tier, low-tier army is kind of funny to watch. Kind of such a late point of this game. And they're still just going at each other and having to fight just as they were 20 minutes ago. MarineLorD is maxed out though, so the time for waiting around is definitely passing by. Definitely time to be a bit more aggressive. Mine shot hits a bunch of Zerglings. Let's move into the bottom side. Liberator about to complete here from MarineLorD, still adding into this air army. And now MarineLorD has to pull his army down to the center, right? Like, you can't leave the air army up to the top right, which he's been doing. So he has to come and respond, but Namshar's in a much more open position than he has been before as well. Those infestors. They had a good fungal on the Liberators, which sieging up. They're trying to get in range of a couple of them. Picks off one. Pretty high energy one as well. So we're seeing the Vikings coming forwards, and we are going to see a couple of broods getting picked off. Medevac. Being caught in the fungal growth now as well. And more fungal still dropping in here as the Vikings turn the fight, applying some pressure. The Infestor gets picked off by this Liberator on the top side. MarineLorD still has the army, but is just reluctant to straight up take the engagement. The Infestors are the really scary part, right? So instead of trying to take up the straight up fight, he's going to go and put himself in a position where the Zerg has to attack into him, otherwise he loses the base. At the same time though, Namshar is attempting to attack down the bottom left. MarineLorD still with a bank in play. Goes pressing forwards, and Liberators in general are just going to siege up this base. The drones will have to pull away. Not going to be able to stick around. Vikings up here as well. The broods are coming in to respond. Again, one EMP on those infestors, and I think MarineLorD just basically air moves into the rest of this. Those fungal growths are the one thing Namshar has to try and hold this off at the moment. This game was... series was back and forth actually. It's been a fun one to cast. More command centers building up as you still see the constant fights on the bottom side of the map, but it looks like MarineLorD is really starting to stabilize down here. And if these lings get through, the Planting Fortress and the Liberator to help defend should do a fair amount. Thank you so much additional pylon for the 7-month resub, appreciate it. As Lings, Veins and Hydra start attacking into that orbital, just pushing that away a little bit too. Bio up to the top as we see Corruptors and Broods setting up the Namshar as well. Another orbital just still dropping in. More fungal growth dropping down, and this army of MarineLorD pressing forwards. A lot of Lings getting picked away at. To the top side, Vikings and Liberators going to be able to push through towards that base. And again, MarineLorD is going to lose this base yet again. Just those infestors, they're so scary to fight into, and that's what MarineLorD's really been trying to stay away from. Pistol turrets will do a bit of damage to the Corruptors, but this base will die to caustic spray. Liberators are pressing forwards here already. Tell you what, the Corruptors are going to be a bit out of position now. It's going to be tough for them to get away. The fungal growth will land to cover their backs. Another big fungal on the Vikings as well. He's chaining it. Hitting the continuations. Goes pressing through. EMP lands though. That's the end of the infestors. They drop the infested Terrans. Liberators are going to start sieging up. Ghosts are sniping down a couple of Hydras. This could be the last fight because the Liberators and Vikings are still pressing forwards here. There's nothing really else to help out. I mean, the last couple of Corruptors are fighting the best fight, but there's just not going to be enough. The Broodlords are going to get picked away at as well because now they'll be chased by the Vikings. And that is it. The fight that MarineLorD was looking for a little while here as he chases down the Infestors with the Marauders as well. Wow, 34 minutes in game. He still doesn't have a concussive shell upgrade. It's a little bit of a shame, but nothing too major. Queen goes down. Army from MarineLorD is good now. 100 supply up, and Namshar has basically nothing left. A massive Zerglings to try and do something, but what on earth will he be able to do? Probably not a lot. Looking at this right now. Bio pushing up towards those Zerglings once again. Going to be seeing those couple of Spore Crawlers in some trouble. 2 Spores already down. Another Spore Crawler picked off as well. Pushing straight up through to the top. Zergling's going to run on in. Still pressing through. hatch going in and down in the center of the map. I mean, MarineLorD just with plenty right now going to be able to keep on pushing into this. And this is going to be GG's any moment. There's a little bit of a Ling Bane will try and save the day. The Infestor's getting EMP'd again. GG is called, and MarineLorD will go to the finals to play against Nam. Our grand final, it's some TVP. It's what we started the day with a little bit underwhelmingly. Let's see how we end the day. As Bacon Hero drops 100 more bits as well. Says, here's 100 more. 600 bits. What am I going to do? I can barely hold them all. I can barely hold them all. As we do have to the bottom right hand side, our blue Terran is MarineLorD. Math on stream, 24 months equals 2 years. That's what I said, isn't it? I said, welcome to the 2-year club. Is it not? Did I mess up? Oh, God. Top left-hand side, GunGFuBanDa took down, of course, Denver in the semi-finals. And that was quite a little while ago. Because that MarineLorD Namshar series took a little while. As we go into this best of 5, let's see who's going to take home again. At this point, every series you've won so far has doubled your money, and it's the same here in the finals. Top 8 ended up with $25, top 4 with 50, and then second place 100, first place 200. We're going to drop in 100 bits as well. Apparently everyone's just dropping bits all over the place today. I'm going to be dropping them soon too. My hands are full. Thank you so much for all the bits, guys. Thank you very much indeed. Good to see so many people tune in as well. We picked 1,500 viewers for the playoffs here today. It's been a slow week in terms of StarCraft viewership after Katowice, as it always is, but it's been good to be able to see it kind of peak up towards the end of the week especially. So awesome to see you guys. Thanks so much for the love. Thank you, Bouncing Cow, for the extra 7 bits as well. Does that make us 707 bits in total now? Oh my god. 70 more, and we've got 777. And there's a 7-month resub from Solon2000, the Twitch Prime, coming in. Thank you so much. As Wush is going to gift out a sub to Bouncing Cow as well. There you go, Bouncing Cow getting hit up with probably a multiple month resub, that one. 7-month resub on Bouncing Cow. Oh my god, it's literally all the 7s. What's going on? All the 7s. This is bonkers. What's happening? Everything is 7. Okay, well. All the 7s in the world at the moment, as we do see the probe chasing down an SCV just for a moment. A Reaper coming in from the right-hand side. The depth starting up from GunGFuBanDa. As the early game looking pretty regular. Both players looking to expand early on. Nothing too crazy there. And as we do get this underway, Twilight Council going to be the tech choice to open up with from GunGFu. As we will move in towards probably a blink opening in these early stages. Command Center going to be finishing up in a moment or two. Again, that Twilight Council just over halfway done. And the starport dropping down in the main base. A couple more Hellions from MarineLorD on the way out. Scan a couple more of these to go across the map, as we will see GunGFu building a pretty early game sentry. Interesting to see a sentry so fast here in the PvT. I'd love to hear something about who GunGFuBanDa is. I mean, GunGFuBanDa is a German Protoss player. He's been around the scene for a very long time. Did take some time off and has more recently come back and started competing at a pretty decent level. Got round of 16 in WCS Winter recently. I guess that's all there is to say. I mean, yeah, he's a high-level player. As we're all going to be seeing the couple of Hellions with the Reaper. Will not be able to make any progress there. Even if a Reaper grenade popping through, the Sentry can drop a force field to really block them out if they'd like to. The Robo feels early follow-up, so it is just again that blink coming in early, the medevac on the way out, a couple of Widow Mines also just coming through here. So a couple of Widow Mines about to pop up. These SCVs continuing out. And again, that Robo about halfway done. There's the medevac of MarineLorD going to be heading towards the upper left-hand side. Hallucination from GunGFuBanDa going to be flying in towards the main base, and just getting a little bit of info, so that's the kind of benefit from having that early sentry, a little bit of scouting information here early. A couple of Marines able to tag up that hallucination just a little bit, some damage being done. Blink on the way out, and a couple of stalkers from GunGFu. Continue to set up here, is actually the Widow Mines going to drop in. Get a couple of kills here initially. It's actually really nice. Multiple stalkers, get some sentries too. The Hellions now getting some probes. And he is actually going to be able to evacuate one of the 2 Hellions with the Reaper too. Good play of the medevac. Good drop. Actually, very good attack. MarineLorD, some good damage here early. Couple probes, some stalkers, the sentry. And the stalker kills especially are very nice because, well, Blink's on the way up, so the less stalkers you have, the less utility you have on that Blink. MarineLorD as a response to seeing so many stalkers already building up a Marauder and a bunker back at home as well. He's also got factory on attack lab, so we'll have a siege tank on the way very soon. Combat shields will start up as well in a moment, so these racks are really setting up into all of those upgrades. And are going to really power through in towards the next stages of the game. Another Widowmine drop. Natural is unprotected. GunGFuBanDa is not currently. Oh my god, what's going on here? He's pulled away from the main. Oh my god, the probes. Oh my god, yes, 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 it's going to happen. Oh my god, no way. MarineLorD does so much damage. The harassment up in the main base in the form of just another medevac actually pushes those workers down to the low ground, and 21 probes fall. God, it's been a long time since I've seen a huge Widowmine connection like that on a mineral line. That was good. I missed that. Bad observing by me, honestly. Missed the Widowmine drop in the main base, which forced the probes to the low ground. And then GunGFuBanDa was all over the place trying to respond to it. That was tough. There's a couple probes drop as well to the very end here. Now 15 workers down. GunGFu's not looking pretty. And MarineLorD just needs to keep building up a bioforce, and he should be very well set here to take down this game. And I like the Dark Shrine from GunGFuBanDa. Went behind. Dark Shrine's definitely one of the better ways to get back into a game as a Broados player at this point. You're not set up with any sort of splash damage to rely on. You're really kind of focused on having a better economy than the Terran to play this gateway heavy Blink Stalker charge drop style. So losing that economy is really detrimental to the way that you're playing. And GunGFuBanDa, one mistake, is now looking to go down a map in the grand finals here. Stepping in, picking up an observer. Bio gathering up as well. We do see that bunker Marauder loads, unloads. Stalker's backing away into the middle just a little bit as well. And again, those medevacs from MarineLorD heading up to the top side of the map. This gateway continue to get set up too. And on the bottom, you're going to see GunGFuBanDa still moving around trying to see what else is going on. And medevac's flying straight past an observer, so that's some information from GunGFu as well. As you do see those medevacs just going to fly in towards the main base in the next couple of moments. And probes going down as Widowmines hit the third base as we watch this medevac drop get denied. There's still just action all over as MarineLorD also pressing through the center. He has three Marines in this army to chase this War Prism with, but funnily enough, it will actually be enough. We'll stim again. War Prism will go down, and it's just another way that GunGFu could maybe get back in the game being taken away right now. A couple of DTs going ahead across the map without the help of the War Prism. Will take a while to get over there, but I mean, MarineLorD has missile turrets set up around the place. Nothing on the third base, although he does have scans saved up, so he can drop scans if he needs to. In fact, looks as though he's really on top of these DTs. Doesn't look as though he's noticed them though. A little bit unfortunate there, but I mean, really, again, are those DTs are going to do enough to straight up pull you back into the game? Are they going to stop this attack? Probably not. DT's going to reveal themselves right now. Oh, the scan already comes down. I think that was a scan to actually look ahead, but then he actually caught the DT anyways. As DT's in the main, well, for the most part here, missile turret scan's going to be enough. The DTs get shut down instantly. There's basically no army here from GunGFuBanDa because he took so much damage early game. And it looks as though we're going to be seeing MarineLorD with way too much. Stalker's going down. Shield battery pylons getting picked up as well. GG is called. And MarineLorD will be taking game number 1 of this best of 5. Map here in this grand final. Can MarineLorD take it to a 2-0 lead, or are you going to see this getting tied up? Going to be a proxy to open up with here on Order Baton. It is a map where a proxy ghost play is possible, something he tried to do in the IEM Katowice when he was playing against someone in the lower bracket or the open bracket, but was not able to do successfully. Top right hand side, MarineLorD. Let's see what this proxy is going to be as the SCV comes across the map to get towards the base of GunGFuBanDa, our red Protoss player, hanging out in the bottom left. Germany versus France for nationalities here in the finals. Teamless GunGFuBanDa against the O Gaming player. MarineLorD not going to go ghosts. He is just going to go and put his... Oh, he's just going to scout in the end? Like, he's going to go CC first. Ah. How intriguing. No, he's going to go rack some gas at home. Okay, but that was a bit late, so I think he just sort of maybe wanted to get into the natural and build the barracks, but he got seen by the probe, so unfortunately, whatever the plan was, definitely not going to be successful and does have to back away with this probe right now. So that that SCV. So SCV backs off. We'll come back into the natural. Can block the natural here with an engineering bay and, you know, slow this natural from being taken for the Protoss off their build a little bit. Definitely, definitely complicates things just slightly. Even forces a Zealot out. And all the engineering bay, yes, it's 125 minerals, which you don't have right now. But again, it does definitely slow down that Protoss Nexus. You see the Cyber Core started here. Surprised the second gas didn't start as well. I guess he's fairly confident we'll get rid of this fairly soon. Looks like MarineLorD's getting ready to expand himself. His Reaper on the way up for the moment. Orbital command on the way, so the next 400 minerals should just be dedicated to the command center. And this engineering bay is getting low very quickly. He actually cancelled... Oh, he didn't cancel the Zealot. He keeps the Zealot. Okay. I guess the Zealot can go across the map here because the command center of MarineLorD seems to be at a bit of a funky time as well. So, some possibility of potentially slowing down that base, although the Zealot's going to take a pretty interesting pathway to avoid the Reaper. So that will slow it down a little bit too, but still about a minute or so until this command center is finished building. So you've still got time to get in and harass a little bit. Reaper coming into the center is not going to find the Reaper the Zealot just yet. So the Reaper unable to capitalize so far. Here comes that Zealot from GunGFuBanDa, heading towards the natural expansion. Barracks going to be finishing up the reactor on the high ground in a moment. Let's see if we can stop building up that CC and just going to pull up in towards the main. So that's going to be a little bit of frustration until some units pop out. As the Reaper coming in on the other side, Stalker to defend it. GunGFuBanDa will not allow MarineLorD to do much as MarineLorD, again, slowed down on the CC. This is what's going to be interesting. GunGFuBanDa ready to place a Stargate over here and really speed up the kind of speed of attack that this Stargate will have with how close it's building to the main. So, I mean, you'd imagine a Stargate as well, right? So, the Stargate does drop down. There's maybe a slight possibility it's some kind of crazy robo attack, but off of an expansion as well, it just doesn't really make sense. Stargate does. Not the fastest possible proxy, but still a proxy, so really hoping for some damage with this. Also means that because it's natural back at home, probably not going to see any sort of void ray harassment. Straight up just going to be an Oracle or so. Reaper hops up, hops down, goes all around. I want to just look at this. I never realized a factory had an antenna that spins around on the top until I looked at the factory skin, the Special Forces factory skin. It has a much larger antenna and it goes left and right all the time when it's building them. If you watch my YouTube video tonight that's coming up, Dia vs Fantasy, I actually introduce you all to the factory shake. I can't remember what I called it, but I think I called it the build, or the siege tank shake, that's it, because when you build in a siege tank, the antenna shakes. So, if you guys want to hear me making a tit of myself, the YouTube video tonight, 9 PM CET, the siege tank shake. You'll learn all about it. It's fun, I think, maybe, who knows. Second Oracle on the way up. I mean, at the moment, there is going to be nothing in the main base, so Oracle flies straight in. And we're going to see the SCVs under some real fire there already. Again, Marine's going to be able to come over and defend pretty easily, though, actually. In the end, there's only 2 workers killed and some lost mining time. There's Oracle about to pop out, heading straight up to join up there for that first one. Reaper's still hanging out, just watching to see if he can get an idea of the third base timing. Marines left in the main. A couple of Marines in a Raven at the natural. Raven could either auto turret or could interference Matrix just to stop the Oracle attacking. Is a possibility. It's not the best way of dealing with it, probably. Auto turret probably does the same job, pushing it back fairly quickly. With some extra damage, might even be better. So probably, yeah, better than the interference Matrix choice. More and more Oracles, by the way. It's the 3rd one now, so there's no Adepts though. So this is just going to be 3 Oracles. If it was Adepts, you know, maybe a big attack. As it stands, just the Oracles may overrun this main base though. There's only a few Marines in here. MarineLorD's going to start losing those Marines very quickly. Opted not to build a missile turret in response to this, so really is in a lot of trouble. The auto turret coming down now. The Raven going to be a big part of the defense and does turn those oracles away before any SCVs are actually lost. So good defense in the end by MarineLorD. Those oracles not really finding much. A stim pack, +1 attack, combat shield shortly as well, hopefully going to start. And they're moving towards a position where this Terran army can push across the map and maybe have a very good time, because the Protoss army hasn't done a lot early game. Has picked off a lot of Marines, I guess, and that does have some substance to it. Less Marines in the fight, obviously, is still going to be less damage output. Combat shield starting up from MarineLorD. The +1 attack is about halfway done. Widowmine will go off, and that's one dead Oracle already. And the Oracles then will use the energy to pick off that Widowmine, but that's a trade that MarineLorD will take any day of the week. Not just a dead Oracle, and some wasted Oracle energy to kill the Widowmine. More gates on the way up, +1 attack and charge still coming through as upgrades here. Robot facility on the natural. Templar Archives will drop down as well. GunGFuBanDa continuing to expand, continue to set up a lot of his tech structures at the moment. And the 2 oracles from GunGfu going to come along and just going to set up the stasis ward there. Bio able to pick up this stasis as well. Here comes the big push. Obviously, Raven has quite a bit of energy still, despite the dropping of an order turret earlier. This army from GunGFuBanDa wants to create this out in the center before Widow Mines and so on are probably burrowed and set up. MarineLorD's just going to choose to drop instead. The Oracles will be kind of invested in finding this, though. As they come across here, they're going to see a lack of an army actually pushing up this ramp. Widow Mines caught in a stasis. Well, the drop towards the main base, I mean, it has to be predictable at this point, right? Scanning the main base as well. Oh my god, GunGfu still doesn't move into position, so this drop's going to get quite a lot done. Both these pylons should go down. He's actually going to have to recall in. What's the Raven going to do? Anti-armor missile, auto turret. Couple Widow Mines going off. Anti-armor missile will be dropped. He'll fight a few of these zealots. Lift up and slowing the boost out. No blink, though, to punish that. 5 gates empowered. These units gathered up over here. More units back at home as MarineLorD. No sort of push on the third base at the same time. GunGFuBanDa still keeping this back. In fact, gotta say, GunGfu 130 supply is actually killing it at the moment. 3 bases looking comfortable. He's actually really killing it at the moment. Bio through the middle of the map. Again, those couple medevacs on the Raven heading in towards the main base. Stasis ward catches a couple of Widow Mines. Again, the medevac's having to be a little bit cautious here. Just trying to drop around, trying to pull GunGFuBanDa apart. And the stasis wards are great. Oh my god, this one's really frustrating as well. This is even better. I mean, the one before I was going to say it's nice because, yeah, it slows down a couple of units, but it also tells you where the army is. This just straight up cuts the army in half, and that is MarineLorD. How do you respond to that? Maybe trying to engage in at the point where they come out of stasis. I think that's going to be his plan. He's dropping units on the top side as well. Anti-armor missile will hit on everything here. Oh, Widow Mine goes off initially. A couple more Widow Mines will start to burrow. Interference Matrix hits an Archon. But then the army comes in from the left side too. The units get themselves stasis to stay alive. So yeah, GunGFuBanDa is overwhelming. GG is called, and GunGfu will have got MarineLorD versus GunGFuBanDa. To the bottom right hand side, our red Terran player. This is MarineLorD. We're tied up 1-1 in the best of 5 finals. To the top left-hand side, the blue Protoss player. Give it up if you're cheering on GunGFuBanDa. As on King's Cove, he's going to go. He's already scouted some common proxy locations here with this probe, and now heading down to the bottom right-hand side. So, coming down to the bottom, getting set to go. Looking to see what's going to be happening. So Probe just having a little bit of a run around at the moment, having a little bit of a party. Let's see via MarineLorD coming around the left-hand side, heading up in towards the main. The early game factory just coming through. Getting this rolling. Probe being a little bit annoying as the Reaper pops out. The Probe goes to hide, and it looks like the Reaper won't go probe hunting. Instead, just going to be heading in towards the upper left side of the map to see what's going on. Nexus continuing through here is going to be finishing up in a couple of moments, and as that gets close to finishing up, we are going to see the Stargate from GunGFuBanDa dropping in the back of this main base. SCV coming up to the top side, and the Reaper from MarineLorD dropping down to the natural and out onto the map as well. And Stargate just coming up to being about halfway done. A couple more Hellions just coming out then, and Proxy is going to come down from MarineLorD, builds the starport with his SCV there, so as the Adept comes across the map, MarineLorD's looking to try and get some damage done early. We'll see. I mean, building Hellions, so probably just wants a Hellion drop into the main base, then maybe a follow-up with a Cloak Banshee or so is a possibility. Hellions are going to be shown here right away, so pretty good info for GunGFuBanDa. Knows Hellions on the map, knows a Hellion drop will be a possibility, of course. And the Adept going to get out of there. Sits in the fog of war as well, the line of sight, so guaranteed to have to deal, take some damage to get close enough to see the Adept. 2 more Hellions coming out. Phoenix on the way. Phoenix is a pretty good way to shut down usual attacks, but the Phoenix will not shut down Hellions. Maybe a couple Phoenix will do the job, but definitely not going to just get away with one Phoenix here. One Oracle would do a very good job, but skipping an Oracle completely to play Phoenix this time around. Just 2 gates dropping in on the natural. Again, more Hellions coming across the map. Reaper just sitting out the front as well. So Medevac's going to load these up, heading towards the main base. And the Phoenix right away. I mean, if they lift both the 2 of the Hellions, they're going to stop some damage, sure. And then it's going to come down to the rest of the units to actually deal with this. So, good lift ups. 2 probes killed. Now it's going to be pretty much the end of the Hellions. 3 probes killed in total. The Phoenix going to be able to get rid of the Medevac. A little bit more damage being done. And now the Phoenix in good numbers just going to clean this up. 7 workers killed in the end. So actually the last couple of shots are really valuable here from MarineLorD. Actually going to put him 1 worker up. So the last couple of connections, very good. And maybe even a bit of a game changer. Love this Widow Mine positioning. A little bit kind of off-center, just out of nowhere. 2 Widow Mines together as well because he knows it's Phoenix. So 1 Widow Mine doesn't really achieve much. I love this as well. He also built a Liberator from the starport and then moved it to the side. That means as soon as the Phoenix get aggressive, this Liberator can come in, and it's going to be very little to deal with the Liberator right away. So, just going to keep this hidden for a little while here. As the 3rd Nexus drops on down from GunGFuBanDa, beginning to establish that big free-base economy we're used to seeing Protoss players get up to very early. And we'll see what his tech choices are behind this, because there still isn't a Twilight Council, there still isn't a Robo facility moving towards a Robo Bay, perhaps. There it is. It's going to be a Twilight Council coming down right now. So Twilight Council on the Forge. GunGFuBanDa setting up with some Twilight upgrades, but the +1s as well. Those Phoenix just been very defensive, by the way, just waiting for anything else to come across aggressively, but obviously MarineLorD's just not going to throw a Liberator in there while he knows the Phoenix are out on the map and just waiting. Twilight Council about to finish. The Forge going to be completing in a moment or two as well. Extra gateways on the way down. Still just setting a few of these up as we see the Stimpack combat shields and +1 on the way through. And that reactor finishing on the factory, which is going to lift, move up top. And the starport's going to come down as well. Starport finally makes it back home, as we do see again a few more gateways just coming up from GunGfu. Just getting a few extra gateways up here. And yeah, I mean, again, another few Zealots warping in as well. All of this just again set up quite nicely at the moment, as we're going to see a scan dropping down on these few Phoenix. Stimpack combat shields coming up from MarineLorD. +1 attack is just over halfway done. Factory about to finish the reactor. This command center finishes as well, can lift up and drop down to the low ground perhaps. And we're only going to see just a few more Zealots warping in. Temple Archives, I mean, we're really just waiting for the attack from MarineLorD, wait for those Medevacs, and you can start dropping around. Otherwise, it's a pretty passive kind of stage of the game. Very passive stage of the game at the moment. Temple Archives about to finish then, and obviously that brings you in towards the opportunity to move in towards the Storm, the Robo facility. Will finally drop down as well. I mean, you can delay the Robo a long time nowadays, and especially if you're just going to play like Charge Blink. You don't really need the Robo. I mean, a couple of mixed in Immortals will eventually help out. It's not a massive need. And you'll have Archons to kind of fill that role for a little while as well now. Hallucinated Phoenix gets found, but it also means the army is found, so the Hallucinated Phoenix did kind of do its job. I think the one thing that GunGFu might be trying to figure out is there a third CC? But he actually does already know, so... Okay, in that case, the Hallucinated Phoenix is just trying to look to see where the army is, if the third base is set up and stuff like that. As we are going to see these couple of Adepts going to shade in. I'm going to be able to pick their way through. Well, another SCV, another couple of SCVs in the next few moments. A little bit of bio comes down and is going to be able to pick their way through these two Adepts. So a couple of Adepts getting picked off. Two SCVs, two Adepts. Good defense by MarineLorD, who on 3 bases is not going to overcommit. I mean, especially with the fact that this is King's Cove, it's so hard to push up into these ramps, into the Protoss 3 bases. So he's just going to hang back, macro up a bit more himself, and then try and do something. Still has this early game Liberator hanging in the top right-hand side. Thank you very much to Alas. He gifts out a sub to Princess Jita for their 2nd month on the channel as a subscriber. Welcome for 2 months. Appreciate the gifted sub. Alas, get some love in the chat for that one, as we do have the Bio Forces here. Going to fight against some of these Zealots. The Zealots taking quite a bit of damage. Medevac drop wants to go into the natural, but I mean... The army's moving over, the Phoenix from here. I mean, this is bad because, yeah, if you unload, the Phoenix are not going to let you get out. The Phoenix are going to kill all of those medevacs. So there's just no way to really do anything there, as we're going to be seeing a single Marine takes the 4th base now. GunGFu with a good set of defense so far. Really covering himself well. Plus 2 upgrades on the way from GunGFu as well, as a Liberator production has started. Now, Liberators are one thing that is very powerful in this 3 base setup, because if you can siege up a ramp, there's very little way to then flank around. It's very difficult to do something else. So the Liberator production could be the one way MarineLorD finds himself being aggressive against the 3 bases of the Protoss player. MarineLorD coming out over to the right-hand side. A few of these Zealots continuing to pull back. A bit more bio. Might just want to try and dive in towards the natural expansion there. The 3rd base could be in some trouble too. Scans up the ramp, sees what's going on. Finds a pylon right up at the top. Going to be able to take that down. And again, just going to stem forwards a little bit here. Still no support from Liberators or anything. They haven't arrived just yet. They're still back at home. A little bit of an attack from Zealots up the ramp, and the depot is unlowered, but he's actually just going to fight the depots for a while. GunGFuBanDa gets supply block and he loses a pylon of his own. Widowmines connected on the Zealot front line, weakening this up a little bit, maybe giving MarineLorD the access to the rest of the army that he needs. A couple of Archons drop very quickly as well. The Zealots keep charging forwards though, with those force fields. There's nowhere for the bio to run to. Phoenix lifting up a few Marauders, taking up a lot of that damage from the army, and now blinking forwards, chasing down the medevacs. The 12 SCVs going down on the other side has really been a bit of a complication, because there's also Zealots in the 3rd base, so SCVs going down all over. Medevac still chaseable, and that's going to be one more killed off there. So that Medevac goes down too. And this Bio Force and MarineLorD will gather up between the natural and the 3rd very shortly. All of those Liberators gathered up together. GunGFuBanDa coming up to the top side right now. What's up? Zablonky Zablonk coming in with the 16 months on the sub. Says congrats on the IEM casts. Thank you so much. Glad you enjoyed the IEMB stream coverage. Thank you so much for 16 months of resubscribing. Always appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Robo Bay going to actually upgrade the Warp Prism speed to make that a bit more annoying. This Liberator from MarineLorD is still just hanging around. It's not being used yet at all. I love it. It's just been hanging around here since the early game proxy. That is a little bit ridiculous, as we see some of these Phoenix heading up to the top side, going to come across, and they are going to intercept that Liberator. So Liberator will get picked away at here, is going to go down. Liberator falls. Drop on the left-hand side as well as the bio comes in. A couple of Liberators sieging up. Going to jump into this and is going to be able to pick off the Colossus. So Colossus going down. Bio continuing to fight. A couple of shield batteries picked off already. Liberator gets taken down as well. Still see the bio forces here pressing their way through this Nexus. Again, quite a lot of damage done. Nexus is going to end up going down on the other side. The attack in. He's not going to kill a Nexus or anything, but is going to trade actually pretty okay against some of these Zealots. And the Liberator is really just a supporting factor here that you can't really just push into without thinking about carefully. There isn't even that much anti-air anymore. I mean, the Phoenix might be some of the best, but the Phoenix are so slow at dealing with this. Force field drops down as the bio presses forwards. The Liberators are going to push further forwards too. I mean, these Archons that run in are just in a lot of trouble. And there's going to be a few Liberators just in siege now to fight against those Phoenix, and it actually will work. He'll push these back. Liberators will turn to fight again as the Medivac super low is going to be saved. A couple of Stalkers have a blink available, and they will get underneath, and Marine will just stop moving this army around. Loses 2 of the 3 Medivacs, 1 which had units inside. MarineLorD now up the right-hand side then. Dark Shrine drops in the back of the main base from GunGFuBanDa. Extra Archons finishing up on the third base as well. Stalker and a couple more Zealots also coming through. And now this army of GunGFuBanDa heading down through the center of the map. Army on the right from MarineLorD as well, getting set up to go. Liberators still being chased here. One of them getting picked off by those few Stalkers. So that's a good little shutdown. We're just going to get sieged up. Here we go. Bio going to come in. The Stalkers have a good number though. Blinking straight onto this. There's nothing to really deal with those Zealots. The Liberators now going down. MarineLorD's army disappearing pretty quickly here. As you see GunGFu just reposition a charge back in. There's not enough bio to fight this. A little bit of harassment on the other side is killing a few probes, but not much. GG, and I felt very outplayed, says MarineLorD. As GunGFu's attack across the map. It's our last game of the day. If MarineLorD fights back, we'll have one more. As he is down a map to the bottom left-hand side. Our red Terran player from O Gaming. Give it up if you're cheering on MarineLorD. And at the top right-hand side, our blue Protoss player, we have got GunGFuBanDa. Okay, so good luck, have fun being called from GunGFuBanDa here as we get this started up. And we get this underway. Have fun, says MarineLorD. Oh no. I feel like the GunGFuBanDa says he will. I feel like the Terran sadness is starting to show. Why are Hellbats not used? They just don't do enough. Hellbats take up a lot of minerals. You just can't really afford them, and they don't trade well enough anyways. Alright, so game number 4 of the grand finals. GunGFu taking down uThermal in Denver so far today. Remember, if you come second place, it is $100 if you finish up in second place. First place is going to be $200. So doubling up your money for winning this series. Yes, guys, I am reading chat, but there's very little to respond to in chat today without just going off on a rant and being like, rah, and ree, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Let's see if we can chase down that probe for a moment. As you do see a couple of Reapers on the way up, actually. So he's actually going to open 2 barracks. Both of them building Reapers. They have a different build. I mean, lots of surface area here to get in and out with Reapers. As you do see the first Reaper leading the charge at the moment. Command Center dropping down in the main base as well, as you do see the first Reaper going to get over here. Nexus is going to finish up in a moment or two. Grenade pops a couple probes around. Probes taking a little bit of damage. And that Reaper pulling back down to the low ground. Alright, well, so far so good. But he's kind of hiding the next couple of Reapers. Really wants to kind of come in and kind of surprise GunGFu a little bit with this. Still more Reapers being built, by the way. Expanding on the high ground. GunGFu sees the lack of an expansion. And the other 2 Reapers about to pop up in towards the main base. The Reaper's just not going to do anything at all here. Deft even shading on. Nelly gets a kill. Reaper on the low ground hasn't got a kill either. It's literally just attacking the Nexus. Chrono Boost here will actually not only regenerate its shields faster if it wasn't under attack, but it will also get that probe out a little bit faster too. And so far the Reaper's not doing a lot. As MarineLorD going to stop with Reaper production and go in towards a tech lab, a reactor on his third barracks which he's built. And this is going to go straight up into pure bio play here as he gets this underway. probes getting picked up. As we are going to be seeing. Well, this is actually some damage starting to be done now. So the Reapers finally finding their way in. Nice grenade blocks them away from the shield battery. We'll commit in for this probe here as well. It's going to go back into the main. 7 workers killed. Shield battery is going to make it difficult to get more damage done at this point, though. There's not enough Reapers left over. 7 probes is still actually pretty decent. It's a lot of Reapers that go down. It's 250 so far. Shield battery definitely helping a lot with that defense. Blink on the way up now then. Blink is generally very good against these bio openings because you get the map control. And as you get the map control, you're able to really kind of... sorry, I had to mute my headset a moment. As you get the map control, you're going to be able to really come in and kind of just shut down units as they try and start pushing across the map, get a lot of early picks, and that can make it very frustrating for the Terran player, who then can't move across the map as smoothly as they would like to. The bio just gathering up by the side of the natural. Going to see this probe from GunGFu heading through to the top right hand side as well. This probe continues over. It's going to be running past. I mean, a few stalkers, a couple of sentries gathered up over here. Blink going to be finishing up shortly. A couple of extra gates coming down. And if you see that starport from MarineLorD starting up as well. Combat shield stim pack. Well, that's coming into play. Engineering bay about to finish up in the back of the main. GunGFu isn't taking the map control like I thought he would with the stalkers. He's not even got that many stalkers, but even 5 can kind of do the job of picking off a unit here, picking off a unit there. And some more stalkers up now. He is getting that robo facility and the forge on the way too. I mean, this is a scary moment though, right? When there's a lot of marauders, a good amount of marines, it's a good amount of bio to push forwards with. He is coming across the map as we speak. Stalker going to be taking a little bit of damage there. Stalkers, I mean, that's kind of what they're meant to do, right? Come forwards, get some shots off, but so far no luck. MarineLorD looks like he might want to go up the top ramp and then not have to push up the ramp that's near the sentries. Resonating Glaive starts as a follow-up now as GunGFuBanDa with the Stalkers going to try and again kite his way against this. The sentries gathering up there too. Got a gateway in the top left, so there is going to be counter-attack potential here from GunGFu if you would like it. And that means MarineLorD has to be very careful not to lose this army inefficiently, because the counter-attack could be really painful here. And those units of GunGFu just gathering up at the moment. And we are just going to be seeing the bio from MarineLorD coming out back into the center of the map. A few more units coming across as well. There's War Prism down the right-hand side. Roadway on the way up, a couple extra gates, the +1 attack, and the Resonating Glaives all coming through here. MarineLorD's just looking for that fight to try and extend this series out to a 5th and final game in this grand final. Bio units back down into the center of the map, a couple of medevacs coming over as well. Do you see this War Prism with a few adepts inside also going around the bottom? 2 medevacs loading up, boosting up to the top, and we are going to be seeing the Resonating Glaives is about to finish as well. So the Glaives, the adepts, are going to be able to be part of this fight too, and that means these adepts harassing are also going to have a pretty good time as MarineLorD has set up to 3 bases. Just taking map control of the Bioforce, and that's very kind of potent to note, right? Only taking map control, not overcommitting or anything. I like it. We're opening quite a few adepts here, so let's see how MarineLorD deals with this. He's got to drop into the main base at the same time. The Stalkers are way out of position though, and the 3rd base of the Protoss also going to be in some trouble. These adepts having an okay-ish time so far. There's that 3rd base in trouble as the Stalkers blink in. This army over here is going to get cleaned out. The shield battery helping a lot in terms of keeping initial units alive, although MarineLorD's still trading well. The sentry's starting to drop. Now units in the natural. Disruptor doesn't do anything. And the bios in the natural are going to get a lot done as well. These adepts over here still having a good time. SCV's running around all over the place. GunGFuBanDa, can he hold on? He still has the 3rd Nexus as well, by the way. That's a big deal. Because now he's going to start killing a lot of SCVs with these adepts. And so MarineLorD is going to start cleaning this up, and he's just going to type out the game because he's losing too many workers. He won't kill the 3rd. That's being cleaned up as well, that drop on the 3rd base. And that's going to be GunGFuBanDa taking it down 3-1. And taking